How we doing tonight, ladies and gentlemen? Boy, I see a lot of people here, and a lot of people are wondering, what are we going to talk about? Are we going to talk about what happened at yesterday's vice presidential debate? Are we going to talk about what's going on in the stock market? Or what about James Taylor's latest TikTok post? Maybe we'll get to that. We might get to that TikTok post most recently, but I'm sure you're here for a number of reasons. And yes, James Taylor, you are a legend. You are legendary, you might want to say. You are certainly a legend, and definitely we'll see how your legendary status will hold up tonight, because we're going to be talking about, I'm sure, what a lot of people want to hear about with this current event that has kind of maybe rocked the backyard wrestling world, and unlike no other here. But obviously our guest is here to talk about that. He's also here to talk about some different things in the world of ROBW, plus going down memory lane with his decorated career. We've been seeing matches from who knows when, 98, 99, 2000 stipulation matches and a whole bunch of different things. And I know that you're waiting for it. I'm waiting for it. But since we are here after all, we are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers on Sportzwire. And if you are here for the first time, do hit that sub button for me, because I'm now almost there. I'm literally almost at the finish line. So if I think I got the amount of viewers that I have right now, and you aren't subbed to Sportswire Radio, now is the time, especially since they say after, Sportswire, all they do is beat up on people and bury people. But I think our guest tonight, maybe he exposed people that needed to be exposed, and maybe that's really what Sportswire Radio is about. So maybe after what I heard, maybe that's the right frame, is that Sportswire is now about exposing people, because our guest is going to definitely do that here and some, and we are definitely honored to be with him once again. Yes, he is definitely a legend, and he has certainly helped this platform to where it is today. So it is time to give our guest that introduction, where it's prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, the platform that he definitely built. And after all, he is always about prime time. He's got 131,000 plus followers on social media. So it's time. You're waiting for it. You're sick and tired of hearing me. Let's give our guest that introduction that you've all been waiting for. So with here on the Sports Wire. Number one, Cable Sports Show. Two-time Hall of Famer, the host of the Nemesis Sessions, the owner of Taffy's Lounge, which recently surpassed 1,500 subscribers, a man with over 130,000 followers on social media, and the owner of one of the premier companies in the backyard of the underground wrestling circuit, ROEW. His name is, simply put, my friend, how are we doing?
I'm terrific, Tom. How you doing?
I'm doing great, just fine. Had a great day. Was in Manhattan, Times Square, and saw the bright lights, and reminded me that, well, Sportswire is where the bright lights are. And yes, we are all Wrestling Matters. And I know some may say, oh, it's not, it's all BS. But truly, we are about all Wrestling Matters, because after all, you're tuned in tonight. But what's on your mind, my friend? What's going on out there?
Well, first and foremost, real quick, I'm gonna go ahead and do the little shout out. Moon Bunny just popped up a comment and said good night to me because I know she was in the other room.
Oh,
She knew I was on getting on here. So, baby doll, I love you. Good night, sweet dreams, and I'll check on you after the
have a
podcast.
wonderful night. Hopefully the intro wasn't too loud for you.
No, definitely. And I'm a little thirsty, so I'm
Lucky
gonna pop the
you.
top on this SOB.
Very kind of you.
Cheers to you, Tom. Thank you so much for having me. How you doing? You been doing all right? You look like
I'm
you've been
doing
really busy up
great.
there in
I'm doing just
Manhattan.
wonderful. Yesterday, we had Mr. Brightside on of WCE, which now seems to be the #1 backyard wrestling company, some would say right now. Obviously, ROEW is right there. Definitely don't want to, compare and contrast, but WC's latest show drew almost 5,000 views. Mr. Brightside's first appearance on Sportswire and the latest WC show drew nearly 300 viewers. So, despite what some people may say, Sportswire is doing, I think, the best it's ever done after Mr. Brightside's appearance, and WCE seems to be back like it was 2022 again. So I'm doing great.
Well, that's interesting. That's good though. That's really
What a
good.
comeback WCE made. Who would have guessed WCE, which was like, I mean, people thought WCE, they should be the ones that folded. I think there was one company that did fold, but WCE was like, yeah, I'm not going there. Aaron Blaze, Anthony Steele, WCE, yeah, forget about them. Don't go there. But it seems like WCE is the place that maybe these guys are going to have to go to soon.
Maybe, who knows? I mean,
Or
if
ROW.
anything,
Or
if
ROW.
anything, yeah. If anything, though, WCE is showing the people that what type of company that it can be. It can be a company that might not be like very much. One thing that catches my eye with WCE is their production. Their production is pretty neat. I like
Yep.
the camera angles and all that stuff. I noticed in IMF's most recent video, they're starting to do something kind of similar.
IMF did a
So,
really good job. From what I heard, their most recent show, they had a fantastic crowd, and we supported that here on Sportswire. I gave not one, not two, but 3 tickets out to that show. So if there's anybody
nice.
that says we don't support and we do this and that, no, you better believe that I'm the only man that puts his money, aside from you, obviously, that puts his money where his mouth is. But we definitely did that, and ROEW is right up there as well. We love ROEW on Sportswire, but we definitely care about WC, according to one person there. But I'm not here to talk about WC. They were here yesterday, but I mean, what's going on? I mean, what do you want to talk about? I mean, there's so many ways I could go about it. I have a feeling here with the amount of people, there's something they want you to talk about. I don't know if you want to talk about it yet. I mean, there's definitely something out there it's rocked the wrestling world. Let's just say.
Yeah, if there's anything that I could do, I can grab something right by the throat and shake it to its very foundation. But before we get into that, I've just been posting a bunch of content lately, just getting things that I'm just posting my old career because I finally got the converter the way I needed it. I've got everything digitally marked and I'm going through editing and posting at least a video a day of my old career, my trampoline days, some of my hardcore days, and just giving the audience and the community a little taste of what I've done. Because one thing that you should always do is back up every word you say
Yes.
and don't hide bullshit stuff.
Yes, that's a good point. Don't hide BS, because we know that, James, you don't have that past that we want to hide, obviously, right? Just making sure.
No.
Just
I
checking.
did a bunch of stupid shit in my time.
But not to the degree,
like
but not to the degree that I think we're going to talk about tonight, right? Not to that degree.
Hell no.
That's good.
Not 100%. Go. I recommend anybody wants to do a look up on me, do a background check on James Taylor, and you'll see exactly what you're going to get.
I can actually do that because I've worked in the world of politics, and I worked in my buddy Barry Gutman's here, and I worked for a state senator, and I'll put a funny picture up later. Barry and I worked together, and Barry reconnected with me, and Barry can attest to that. That was a different time without the mutton chops and the long hair, and but I could look you up. I would be able to find out the background check pretty easily, but that's here nor there. But a lot of people are here. I mean, I don't know, where do you want to start first? I mean, that's just the question.
Let's talk ROEW, okay?
Well,
so
actually,
ROEW.
I got an ROEW announcement that I want to talk about, because we have a new champion in ROEW Underground Wrestling now. But also, I have a guest coming on next Friday who I'm sure is going to definitely share the same opinions about you about a certain topic we're going to bring up here certainly very soon. And Big Man Cam is back on Sportswire. He's back here right after SmackDown next Friday. He returns also with the ROEW World Underground Championship in his possession. And what do you think about this whole situation now in ROEW? Jack Delta goes exit stage left. We hope Jack is doing well. But whole new setup is about to take place, and Big Man Cam's on top.
Well, we moved the ring outside, and I gave directions to one Jason Storm. I don't know if you caught the clip or not. I think he posted on his TikTok as well. But
Yes, I think I shared it on TikTok. Yes.
the dumbass can't understand what G means. G meaning garage, where the old ring was, and we took it outside, and he just couldn't understand the blueprint. And of all people, CJ Black had to show him how to read it, and that's funny as hell to me. But nonetheless, the 1,000 subscriber special. If you haven't seen it, go check it out. It's a hell of a show, and it was a badass match. My hats off to all 6 competitors. Yes, Jason Storm and CJ Black. All 6 guys went out there and kicked ass. Did you see that spot? That badass spot between
Yes.
Matthew Forsaken and C
We're
Money
all
when they both
Forsaken.
did a backhand, a moonsault off the top turnbuckles? That was just fire right
I don't
there.
know if you're going to be doing that, James, when you return to the ring again.
No, I ain't got no moonsaults in my repertoire.
So I was disappointed, James. I was hoping that was the announcement tonight. Instead of what we'll talk about was maybe you were going to announce to the fact that you actually were going to do a moonsault on your next opponent.
Yeah, I mean, hey, I never know. Maybe if I drink enough of these beers, maybe I'll be able to do so. But that being said, I mean, I can talk about also the fact that we talked about it a couple of weeks ago, but Jack Delta, here's to a speedy recovery. You know,
Yes.
from the owner to James Taylor to you. I hope that you get recovered really, really fast so you can get back in the ring and get back what belongs to you, I'm sure, in your eyes. But Big Man Cam, he came back. I signed him back. He's no longer with BYW. He called me out at the end after he won the title. Congratulations, Big Man Cam, on winning that championship. But I want to tell you, I'm more happy at the fact that you got your big grizzly hands on CJ Black and Jason Storm. That to me was funny as hell. I don't know what we're looking at. What the hell is
That's
that?
Barry Gutman. I wanted to show. We have a big crowd tonight. I wanted to show them me without mutton chops from about 7 years ago. I thought it'd be kind of funny.
Oh, okay. Look at
I
that.
thought that was. I think that's why people are tuned in tonight, not because of what you're going to talk about in about 10 minutes, but rather they maybe wanted to see me without the mutton chops and the long hair. Maybe if there's somebody out there that does a special someone out there watching and listening, you might get a chance to see that. But I thought that was really what I should put up. I thought you'd get a kick out of that, James. Not to talk about what you're going to talk about very soon, but rather this. Me and Barry together, my buddy Barry Gutman.
Awesome. Hey, that's good. How long ago was that?
About I think 7 or 8 years ago, where we worked for a state senator in Brooklyn, and Barry looked like he was wanting to get away from me. He still does, but continue, James. Continue.
How long did it take you to grow those mutton chops?
It took me about like 3 years to grow. So I actually grew this, I think, right after this photo, if I'm remembering it correctly. So
nice.
There you go.
Nice.
Well,
Congratulations to you for sure.
Thank you. I appreciate that very much. But continue about ROEW, because I know Big Man Cam's here next Friday. Finally, he's decided to come somewhere that actually has viewers. Certainly extra.
Yeah. Instead of going on some Blue Den or Gray Den or whatever the hell it's called.
I don't know anything about it.
I don't know. But beside that, Big Man Cam is the new ROEW World Heavyweight Champion. So congratulations, Big Man Cam. Copyright infringement because you used my catchphrase at the end, but I'm going to let this one slide and I'm not going to fine you. So kudos to you. C Money, I don't know if he really got hurt. I heard from the grapevine that he might have gotten a little bit injured, but nonetheless, he's still,
I don't know anything about that. Honestly,
I think he's all right. Dark Cron and Matthew Forsaken, badass competitors. They come. I
have to bring up there is the news before you get to your, big expose. What's your opinions about what's happened to Darkron? Just a horrible thing. We want to give our thoughts and prayers to Darkron. Darkron's here on the 26th. He's going to go into the Hall of Fame once again, and really praying for Darkron. And what's your thoughts on that situation there?
Oh, I hope that he gets a speedy recovery. I had something kind of similar, not as brutal as what he had with his fingers. I had something similar happen to me, so I hope that he has a speedy recovery as well, because he's a guy that I like to watch, and I'm glad that he's part of my company. And maybe one day I'm just going to throw it out on the grapevine. But I mean, I would love to have a match with Darkron one day before he finally hangs his boots up. So
that would be a legend match. We can call you guys legends here on Sportswire. It'll be a match of legends, right? Between who's more of a legend, right? We can call people legends on here.
Something like that, possibly. Yeah, I mean, just for two old heads to lock up would be really great. You
Yep.
know, it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it'll just be friendly competition, and just to see where he's at, see where I'm at, and we just tear the house down. That would be a hell of a fight. So, Darkron, if you're out there, James Taylor hopes that you get a good recovery and don't hang it up yet, man. Hang in there just a little bit longer, like I am.
Absolutely, no question about that. But yeah, I'm excited about Big Man Cam. And real quick, I mean, what do you think about this whole situation? With I have to ask you about CJ Black and Jason Storm. Rather interesting there. What happened?
Well, it looks like the world is starting to crumble little by little, brick by brick.
The
You
backyard
know,
wrestling world might be crumbling in an ROW between BYW, huh?
yes, yes, I know, and that's happiness to me to see their lives miserable when it comes to something like that is very entertaining to James Taylor. But you know, nonetheless, there's still talent inside my company, and as long as they're there to do their job like they're supposed to, that's all that matters. And there's people that tune in to see them, but they tune in to see them get their ass whipped. Period.
Well, Big Man Cam doesn't seem to be friends with them anymore, and that's why he's on top. And he's on top, maybe some would say right now, of the backyard in the underground wrestling circuit. So that's obviously interesting in itself. Another plug: my buddy Barry's on Twitch. So if you're on Twitch, he's got 422 followers. He was at 418. So if you're on Twitch, go follow my buddy Barry, because Barry's been a friend for 14 years almost. So go help out Barry. He's got a group on Facebook, Amazing Candles. So we're going to use tonight to support some people. I have an event I'm sponsoring. So I figured use this night to promote, well, myself. Because after all, I mean, we say we're all wrestling matters. So maybe we should really promote all different things, right?
Yes.
But good. I'm excited about that. ROEW is certainly ready for some big things. And Darkron, we're praying for a speedy recovery. I'm excited about Big Man Cam. There's a Mr. Cam, I think, is contractually obligated for an announcement soon about his next Sportswire appearance. I certainly won't go into details about that. So we're excited with, well, all things ROEW. Please support them. And anything else ROEW you want to share that our audience should know about before we go into another topic or two that I'm sure the audience is dying for your opinion on?
Our biggest show of the year is anniversary, ROEW anniversary, and we're hoping that we're targeting a date of November 30th. So
Ah,
stay tuned to that. We're not an official date, but stay tuned to that date. So we're hoping that we're going to be able to get to that, but nonetheless, it should be November, beginning of December. We're going to find out, but stay tuned, keep watching, and we're on the road to 2,000 subscribers now. So 1,000 more to
absolutely.
go.
Amen to that. Amen
Hell
to
of a
that.
milestone.
And I want to congratulate you on something, because we have a lot of people here, and I want to give you a plug on something else that you're probably going to be like, really? You're plugging it right now? You better believe I'm. Taffy's Lounge, 1,500 plus subs. How about that? Congratulations.
Thank you. Appreciate it. It's been a grind. I'm still just staying consistent. Just had a new video pop today, the I Need Coffee. So check it out. Got some really good beats. It is officially the spooky season. So yes, I'm a big fan of the Halloween and everything. So 90% of the videos that I post every day are going to be all about Halloween and Halloween themes. So definitely stay tuned and keep watching. I'm on the road to 2,000 subscribers for Taffy's Lounge. And if you haven't, go hit that subscribe button if you want something nice and cool and something great to chill to listen to. And
Absolutely. You
nonetheless,
might need
there
that
it
after
is.
after tonight's show, right? With some of the things you're going to say very soon. I think our audience might want to just chill out and relax to some, low hi-fi beats, or, some smooth jazz, or some Weather Channel like music. This might be the perfect opportunity after tonight's show.
Oh yeah, definitely. You know, Tom, I'm a guy who I back up what I say for a
Yes.
reason, and I'm the master of proving people wrong. You know, people like, oh, it's impossible to do this. It's impossible to do that. I took a channel right there back in May of this year, and here we are, October, and I've already got it to 1,500 subscribers. I went to ROEW, purchased that company, and got not just on me. A lot of it was Jack Delta, Big Man Cam, Jason Storm, CJ Black, Darkron, Matthew Forsaken, C Money, just to name a few. And we got it up to over a
Did
thousand
you mention Jason
subscribers.
Storm? You better make sure you've mentioned Jason Storm.
I did, the Mr. Cyclone himself. But because of my vision that I had brought to ROEW, and then the talent that is inside ROEW, we all came together and look where we're at now. And it's just going to be a bigger road. Now it's like a snowball effect. It's just going to get bigger and bigger as we go down that hill. And as soon as, before you know it, this time next year, we're probably going to be about 10,000 subscribers. Who
I
knows?
think, you know what?
Just
Why not
keep
at this
your eye
point?
on the product.
Why not? I mean, after all, ROEW pound for pound is one of the best wrestling companies, not just in the backyard, it's everywhere. I mean, what ROEW puts, we love, in fact, ROEW's in the Sportswire Radio Hall of Fame. Yes, they're in the Hall of Fame, and we'll put more people in the Hall of Fame for those out there. Yes, we will
You know, I
definitely.
got a question, Tom, and for the audience that's here tonight to
Yes, it's
watch
a
it.
great thing.
How many owners, how many promoters do you ever see or do you get that come onto this platform and promote their product the way that I do? See, I do it because it's what you're supposed to do. This is my job, is to promote my company, ROEW, for the backyard and underground wrestling community. And that's why we got the new label, ROEW Underground. You check it out, you enjoy it, you like it, and everybody wants to be there, and it's for a reason. It's because we back up what we say and we do what we're gonna do. And why? How come there's no more promoters that get on here and sell and promote their company? I don't understand it. I don't
Well, I think
understand why
one
these owners don't
promoter,
do
right?
up and step up.
Now, from what I've heard, objectively speaking, one promoter I think is out of business, and probably another promoter is probably dealing with some damage control, understandably so. And then, actually, there's one owner that does come on technically that you see every time you're on Sportswire with the initials GP. That's the one owner that does come on.
There you go. Okay.
That's
Yeah,
one.
you're
That's
right.
one.
You're right.
GP. Can't
You're
knock
right.
GP. And Aaron Blaze is the owner, by the way. He actually owns YBW. He comes on here.
Okay. 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 Well, then
Aaron comes. Aaron is a
there's a
friend.
few
So
far in between. Okay. That's
Aaron is still a
understandable.
friend on Sportswire for those out there. I support, and I don't turn my back on people. Aaron is definitely one of them. Justin Parsley was a promoter once upon a time. I know you probably don't remember that. But I want to give a plug to my buddy Barry because he just sent me a new follower. So thank you, Stoners Lounge Podcast. Give me a follow. I'm almost at 1,000 subscribers. Barry's got a group called Amazing Candles. He's a pet lover. He's a rescuer of pets, and he's got candle business, and he's got a bunch of different things. And Barry's been a good friend, and we want to support those that support us. And there's Barry, and go support him. He's got a GoFundMe for his pets, and he's got a whole bunch of different things. And I want to support those that have been with me from the very beginning. And Barry was with me literally. I think the last time we spoke was when I started the podcast, when I was on SoundCloud. So Barry's supported Sportswire, and definitely, yes, he loves. Like, find out. We'll definitely find out. But thank you for commenting. But okay, all right. Well, we got that, and thank you, Barry, for your support. But anything else you want to talk about before I'm sure what people are kind of bracing for? They're kind of bracing for.
We're bracing for it. I totally get it, but I need to know your opinion on if you've got the chance to see any of my old stuff yet,
Yes.
and if so, what is your thoughts on what you've seen?
I
Yes,
absolutely
Goofy.
did watch some of your matches, and I definitely think that people should check that out on your YouTube channel. And I definitely have an ability to put that plug up there for you. And I definitely think that we need to get more subscribers for James Taylor. And we definitely want to make sure that, yes, you need more subscribers. But yes, there he is. And yes, I have gotten a chance to watch some of the content here. And yes, that was you in the famous war you had in,
That's right, ladies and
sorry,
gentlemen.
wrong there. But yes, definitely got a chance to watch some of it. And, very excited about it. And yes, I got a chance to watch it. I did.
Well,
I didn't
appreciate
get a
that.
chance to watch
What's
today's
what's your
show.
feedback? What's your feedback on a young James Taylor with my Afro puff hair? What'd you
I
think?
think you should bring back the Afro Puff.
You know, I've had a few people tell me that I
You
should
should
bring
bring
it
it
back. I
back.
don't
Because
understand
if you don't
why.
do it now, you're never going to get a chance to grow it.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Because I'm 40, right?
I
But
was
look
going
at
to
that.
say.
You
Yeah.
see the dates on there. 24 years is a long time, right there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I mean, some of our
So,
audiences probably wasn't alive in what was that, 2000? Some of our audience wasn't alive.
yeah, and some of the people, I mean, that's in this community wasn't even alive yet. So, but I mean, it is what it is. This is a great competitor. I don't know where he's at today, unfortunately. His name was Fire. He had a little faction inside TWF called the AKA, similar to like the APA, but I mean, it was their own thing, Ice and Fire. But they were cool. I mean, they were one of my best friends, really good guys. for such a young talent. And I was only maybe a year into this, but this was like
Yeah.
my first few months on camera. I've only been on camera for about a month at this point.
Oh,
And I just coming out, just getting in the ring with him, we were just still learning. We were having fun. And that's what this business is about. You go out there, you be safe, and you have fun. You know, and don't do the stupid shady shit. And I own the company, but I what you don't see me coming out for the title. You don't see me coming out with a championship on me because I never booked myself to be champion. I did become champion and then put over another guy. I never won the damn title back because that was
yeah.
just the way that I did things.
Now,
And then
who
we went
dressed you for
about.
the rip? Now, who dressed you for the ripped jeans?
So that was an early 2000s thing, a late 90s thing. That's actually just wear and
Now,
tear. It's an old pair of jeans.
I'm a little younger than you. I don't remember ripped jeans in 2000. I mean, I think like 6 or 7 years younger than you. I don't remember in 2000 people wearing ripped jeans. Was that a thing?
Maybe it was a thing in Texas then. I'm in deep central Texas right here,
Oh,
and it was
okay. All
hot
right. I
as
was in
shit.
Brooklyn. We weren't wearing ripped jeans in Brooklyn. I mean, going out in Brooklyn, wearing out ripped jeans, you'd get shot most likely, even in the
Oh
quote
yeah.
unquote good neighborhoods of Brooklyn. Which is the truth. That
Well,
was the truth.
that
My
was
mother's
just a
probably listening because
style.
go ahead.
It was just a style back then, I guess. At least for me, it was. I liked it. Nobody ever complained. But I've always been a jeans guy. I'll be a
Yeah.
jeans guy till the day I die. Hell, I wore jeans the last time I got in the ring when I was
Yes.
facing Anthony Steele and Gabe Sayers. I was wearing jeans, you know.
And I want
So
to thank
it's
everybody for tuning in. We have 44 people watching live on YouTube. They're waiting for
wow.
obviously the now. We're going to get to that in a few
You,
minutes. I promise you.
yeah, you can close this out if you want. Totally
No,
up to
no, no.
you.
I want to
But
put it on for a few minutes because I think CJ Black said it best. We have 40 plus people watching for James Taylor on a trampoline.
if you haven't, please go check it out. If you're interested in any of my earlier
What have
stuff,
you
but this is the
learned
way
from?
we
Well,
do.
I got something for you before we get to obviously the big stuff of the day. But what have you learned from going back in down memory lane? What have you learned from these experiences to help you in terms of just whatever you want to do in wrestling, whether it's ROEW, whether it's just I don't know the Nemesis sessions again. What have you from like going back and watching these experiences?
Well, I mean, one thing about me is I'm a very nostalgic person, and I love the past. It's like I live in the past. Of course, I'm very in the present and what I'm doing today, but I take a lot of my experiences from the past and bring them to today's time. When I watched this right here, when I went back and I was recording all of it, I mean, it's just I feel like I'm right back there where I was before. I remember every single thing in this match that I was doing. I guess I have an eidetic memory. It's just even at my old age, I don't got dementia yet, but I remember specifically things that was going on when I was doing this match, what we were trying to do, just putting a little bitty story together. But it was more like we're just trying to have fun. And during those times, we had certain matches that were planned, but about 75% of them we were just playing, and just having fun. And
Do you have any?
that's
Do you
really
have
what
any?
it was. All this was about.
Do you have any regrets? Do you have
You
any
broke
regrets? Do you have any regrets from going back and wrestling in that era?
Regrets? No, not one bit. I wouldn't trade it for the world. That was like probably one of my best times in my entire life. I had a lot of good times, and I still know I got more to come. But back then, those are memories to me that will never leave my head. Even if I lost all those tapes today, I remember all of it, and it was just a good time for me. I didn't have very much of anything in the world. I mean, you can see in the background where I was at. I grew up in a trailer, not ashamed to admit it. I come from nothing. I was never handed anything. I was fortunate enough to get this trampoline that I had, and at that time, $300 for a 16-foot trampoline was a lot of damn money, especially in 2000.
Well, that's
And
why also I don't begrudge trampoline wrestlers. I mean, I
yeah,
really don't because people don't realize what it costs to, buy a ring. I think that,
mhm.
I watch a lot of really good trampoline wrestling. We have Matsuda from Australia. They're doing a great job wrestling Zero. We've had on the guys from BTW, Jacob Frost, RJS, BES, Comatose. They're doing a great job out there. I think that, if you can go out there and why not? Copper Dragon always says trampoline wrestling can be very important. So I don't, I'm not of this mindset that we should just demonize trampoline wrestlers. I mean, I just don't
Right,
understand.
exactly. And that's one reason why I'm so happy that I'm able to share my early days, because I started on a trampoline and I had a blast on a trampoline.
I
That
wish I had a trampoline growing up. I'm sure my mother's going to tune in the morning. So, what are you talking about? We were in Brooklyn. We weren't putting a trampoline anywhere, but would have been fun.
yeah,
Maybe I would
yeah.
have been bounced off the trampoline. Who knows?
This is deep country Texas, and I mean,
Okay.
you see, we had a lot of
Yeah,
land
I
out
grew up
there,
on
so
cement and asphalt. There was like no place. There was no yards. I didn't get a backyard until later on. But we didn't have the
yeah,
backyard to put a trampoline in. It's just what it
exactly.
was.
There was just it was just the time and era, and I hope that the younger guys that play, that watch, and they do their trampoline wrestling now, that are just starting out, go and watch some of my old stuff, and you can see how we used to do trampoline wrestling back in the day. It's very similar, but at the same time, we're just out there just giving it our all because we're very passionate about what we do. We're not out there playing wrestler. We're out there just trying it and doing it because we love it. Where you get there's a fine line between, there's guys that do it because they love it and it's passion, and then there's a few guys that do it because they're just playing wrestler, like a certain guy who pays another guy $1,000 to train him, who was nothing. But anyways, that's what he's not being said.
Yeah.
But right there, you can see it's passion. Of course, I'm being a complete mark, wearing the Stone Cold shirt. I'm copying Triple H right
Nothing's
there.
changed. Nothing's changed. Some would say.
I'm technically playing wrestler, but I'm putting my heart and passion into it every single match. Even at 16 years old, right there, I would take this tape. I would go in that day, and me and my friends would watch it and analyze it. Man, that was cool. That was fun.
Yeah.
Hey, I didn't like the way I did that. I'm going to do this next time. And then I'd try something else. And as you watch the evolution of these tapes as they come out, you're going to see how much better I get each and every single time. I get a little bit better. And that's how every wrestler should be. Period.
Absolutely. And definitely subscribe for more. That's Taft Taylor's YouTube page. Please support him, support those who support us. And I have two more plugs I want to get to before what the audience is waiting for. I promised I would plug something else. I'm actually sponsoring something that I think is very important in some of the old neighborhoods of Brooklyn. I'm actually sponsoring a Russian music concert there. It's for
Nice.
a young lady singing it. It's the soul of
Uh-oh.
South Brooklyn music. Definitely. It's a really good event. I'm sponsoring it. A few politicians, I think, or wannabe politicians or attempted politicians are there, and the Sportswire logo. So, yeah, so much for Sportswire. We're not all wrestling matters. Here I am going out in the community, going out there and sponsoring events for the people out there, the good people. And they've been very gracious to put our link out there on YouTube. So I want to thank, obviously, everybody that's involved in the event. I think there was 3,000 text messages that got the Sportswire Radio logo and website in the last week. That there was 3,000 people that got
Nice.
well, maybe the viewership went up yesterday because of the text blast. So that's, it all helps. So that's, very 3,000 people. Yeah. So I think more people know Sportswire than we are before, but thank you for that. I'll get to some more plugs shortly, but James, I think it's a good time now. The chat's waiting. They've been waiting patiently. And, James, you have made the news. And you definitely made some news that I think a lot of people are going to be certainly talking about for a long time. And not just backyard wrestling, but wrestling in general. It reminds me of something. I was covering British wrestling a few years ago, which I still cover from time to time. And shout out to all our friends. I think the Tribal Cheese is in the chat. So I say hello to him. James Barris, who I know would definitely, appreciate what you're about to say. But it reminds me, it was a movement called the Speak Out movement, where unfortunately there were wrestlers that used their position and did things that, really I don't want to really go into, especially because we're a family station on Sportswire Radio. And unfortunately, while it's a different circumstance, it's very similar. And what's kind of happened here these past couple of days. So I know a lot of people are talking about it. And I think now I have to put you on the spot because this is kind of your hot potato, your basically moment, your political football. So I'm going to ask you, James, for those that are listening and watching here in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, Sportswire Radio, James Taylor, what did you expose, and especially about two backyard wrestlers that I know you know and probably shared a locker room with?
Well, first and foremost, all I did was debating on if I should share an opinion in a video that I had made. It was on my heart, Tom, and it was
Yeah.
just it was in my soul. I was like, I gotta say that, I gotta get it out. And I said it in a video, and then I kept that video, the one that everybody has seen. I kept it in my library on my phone for about a day, and then last night was when I posted it because I sat there for an hour before I posted. I was like, I was debating, should I post this, should I not? Because I don't want to really feel like I'm going to stir up shit, but I'm not wanting to start anything. I'm really just wanting to share my opinion. But I'm like, freedom of speech. You know,
Yes.
I want to say what's on my mind. Fuck all the eggshells. I just wanted to share it. And because it's something that needed to be said. And what inspired me to do that, there's a channel that was on Instagram that shares their opinions. They don't show no face, no nothing. It's like a black screen. They post little things, a fact of the day, opinion of the day, blah, 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 this, blah, 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 that. Well, I was like, you know what? I want to speak up because I got something on my mind. And what entailed me to do that was there's a guy that I follow who always wore, I'm not name dropping yet, who wore a mask, and he
Perfect.
worked for a company in Tennessee, and I never seen his face because I never worked with the guy. And the guy that we're talking about, who I was giving my opinion on, I never met him in person either. I don't think I've, anyways. So, anyways, I took my mask off, and he's doing a video, and he's
Yeah.
talking about coming back to the company. So I'm like, well, I never seen the guy's face. I'm gonna watch it. And then out comes the guy that I had an opinion about, and he's
Yeah.
the champion. And I'm like, that guy is the champion. And I heard about him and seen that mugshot that's been shared of him. So I decided I needed to express my opinion. And my opinion was that I find it cringy that a sex offender, I'm going to say it here, a pedophile, a horrible human being, period,
Absolutely.
is representing a company as a world champion. And not only is he representing the company as a world champion, he's an active competitor and acts like nothing is of the norm, out of the norm. He's just a guy that's there, and the people that are promoting him don't know about if the people know or not. It's none of my business, but it's the fact that the guy's even on television. He's even on camera.
Yep.
There's channels on this main platform of YouTube that expose people like that expose pedos. And I watch those because if I ever had kids, unfortunately I don't have any kids, me and my wife don't.
Well,
I love
you
kids
do have
though.
a cat. You do have a cat.
We
You're a
got
cat.
3 cats, so those are our 3 fur babies. But if I ever had a child and some jerk off, some freak, some sicko decided to do something like that, I'd torture them like a damn dog, period. And I think everybody can agree with me here.
Absolutely. There's no place for that. Continue, James.
I just think in our community, one big supporter of all is kids. And you got kids that are possibly watching that platform.
And we say it
And
on
there's a
Sportswire all the time. We have people that watch from all over the place, James. You know, there's a lot of people that watch, and we don't condone that. But continue, James. James, boy, have the wrestling god struck James Taylor. There you go, James. James, are you alive? If somebody tried to break into your Wi-Fi, continue, James. Continue, James.
No. Okay.
James Taylor's Wi-Fi has been disconnected. Oh my God, James Taylor. James, are you okay? Now? Yes, talk.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
No.
I feel like Verizon Wireless.
No, I can't hear you. Please tell us what you were about to say. We're like all waiting in translation. James Taylor. Oh my God, James.
Yes.
Are you here?
Yes. Can you hear me?
Now I can. Please talk into the. Oh my God. You know, I don't know if the wrestling gods are striking down on him as the UWA. Have they struck down on James Taylor? I don't know. Oh my goodness. I can hear you, Aaron Blaze, but James Taylor's going to have to come back in. Yeah, there's something wrong with his connection. I mean, I don't know. The government, D'Angelo LaPlane just said the government has said, shut your mouth. I'll give James a minute or two. I think he'll come back on. I think he's going to come back on and talk about this because obviously this is what we're all here for. Otherwise, I mean, I don't know, but dude has a potato for Wi-Fi. Is that possible that you could have a potato for Wi-Fi? I mean, you know, we'll have to find out. We're hoping, James, you've got like 60 seconds. I mean, we're waiting for you. The people are all waiting. James Taylor has had Wi-Fi. He was about to tell us what he has uncovered, and then all of a sudden his Wi-Fi now is disconnected. I mean, divine intervention. It just might be. I mean, we'll give James a minute or two because he does want to speak. I do have a special guest. We do have special guests planned, but maybe it was simply fate. I don't know. That's a good question. I mean, I know everybody's waiting, but James Taylor has been disconnected. Oh my goodness. I mean, poor people like my friend Angela's here. But yes, thank you, Dark Crown. Yes, Angela, I promise you when James comes on, he's going to come right back on here and give us the announcement that he's been really exposed for the world. I do have somebody else that wants to come on here. If that's not the case, we do have a big backup that I promise will be just as big. Yeah, YouTube was like, hell no. I don't know. Where is James? I don't know. Do you think, for those in the chat, do you think that Diddy and James know each other? Do you think that Diddy follows James? For anybody here in the chat? I don't know. It's a good question, but we're all waiting. Where is James Taylor? Where are you, James Taylor? You were supposed to give us the announcement, what you were about to talk about here, and I don't know. Where are you, James Taylor? He's paying his light bill. What does his light bill cost? That's a very good question. What is his light bill? What does it cost? I would love to know for the audience. But I mean, we're waiting. We'll give James another 60 seconds. I'm going to have somebody else come on here. So we do have a backup. So we'll give James about 60 seconds here on Sportswire Radio. If you are here, bro's paying the wrong bill. Yeah, I think it's pretty self-explanatory who you pay the bills for here when it comes to your electricity. But definitely we'll have to find out. We do have a guest here in the wings, but somebody effed up. We definitely do that. A serious matter. Yeah, I don't know the serious matter, but all I'm going to say is people can change. Yeah, I don't know. I listen. I'm gonna definitely talk about it. I'm gonna give my opinion. I don't know what people will think. My prediction on Bad Blood. Well, he's here. Never mind. Hold on. James Taylor, are you alive? James Taylor.
Can you hear me?
Now I can, James Taylor.
Jesus Christ. I guess I don't know if somebody's hacking my internet because I started talking or what. Obviously, somebody's pissed off
about
got
it. You. I think the feds got you, James. The feds. That's what it is.
Jesus, I'm sorry. But anyways,
please continue because we're all waiting in disbelief.
I'm sorry. I really apologize, everybody. But nonetheless, yes. What was the last thing I said? I mean,
you're talking about, first of all, an individual who was a world champion for a company.
Yeah.
Obviously
so
it was
comes
known.
Out, and I see that it's him. And I realized from what I heard, that guy's a sex offender. And I went back, I found that mugshot, dug it up, and I saw it. And I was like, sure enough. So I had to get that opinion out. And then I decided to post it. And I swear, I've been blown up today about it. Obviously, what's got everybody talking, but it's not something to get people talking. In a way, it's something. It's a notice for everybody. Everybody needs to know this. Because it's either going to be said by me or somebody else is going to say it, regardless of the fact. You got these weeds that are in this community, and we need to get them out of here, period.
No, I agree with that, and I do believe that it's similar to the Speak Out movement in the UK. There's no justification of anybody doing anything that would be labeled as a sex offender or whatever it might be. I don't know the details of the case, but there's no place, there's no toleration for that in our community, and I think in general. It's absolutely appalling. And but what do you now? I don't know what you know. Do you think the company that employed the first individual, do you think they knew his background? Is that, I have to ask that as an investigative reporter. Do you think that the Underground Wrestling Alliance knew that Sammy Slade was a sex offender?
I don't know them personally. I only know really of Aaron Blaze, but I think Aaron Blaze just.
Well, he's their biggest draw. I mean, I think he's their biggest draw. Chase Sullivan certainly is a draw, but it's a company that's obviously, it's what it is. I think they've had some problems in terms of their video editing, the no referee, but they've worked well with the platform. But knowing this, there's no working with them at this point coming forward. But, and they don't exist on top of that. So, I was just curious, do you think that they knew, the people that ran that company, do you think they knew that Sammy Slade was a sex offender?
Honestly, I think some may have known, and then he told them a bullshit story, and they just trusted in him to believe that without doing the digging themselves. The best thing they could have done is what they did today when they found out and then they let him go, because you don't need somebody like that representing your company. And if it was just brought to your attention, then it is what it is. I'm not saying let's shut these companies down. All I'm saying is
Yeah, I don't think that every person
the
in there,
viruses in it.
I don't think that if you're in that company, like you can't go out and say everybody in UWA is it's not right, because there are people that if they don't know and they're there to wrestle. Now, if they know today and they go out and support, let's say the decision to keep, if they had kept Mr. Slade in their company, that's a different discussion. But I think in terms of if you're a wrestler in that company, I mean, I don't think that they're sex offenders.
Right.
But that's kind of, again, I don't know enough of the details.
Yeah.
I'm not there to comment on that. I mean, but that's
I mean,
obviously.
what they do from here is going to be up to them, and what the
Do
people
you
want to
think
do.
that the UWA should be in business?
If he's still in it, no.
Do you
And
think? Do you think? And what do you think? Do you think that the owner of the UWA? Do you think that he should have apologized, or what's your thoughts? I mean, we're going to get to TBW, and that's going to be another topic in a second. But I mean, do you think that there should have been more an apology other than he's released from the company? Should there have been an apology?
there should be some type of video where they explain themselves or explain the situation and talk about what they intend to do to fix this situation and how they're going to handle it and where they want to go as a company. It's not up to me on what happens to them. That's really up to the
If you
public.
worked now, if
And
you worked in the UWA, would you have demanded, or if you had known prior, how would you have gone about that situation? No, you're the owner of ROEW, so we know ROEW is obviously a very classy company. I'm going to say it on and off the air. Those guys in ROEW, everybody in your locker room, we know what they bring to the table in a professional outside the ring level. But if you were in that company, or if you were the guy that was the owner of the UWA, how would you have handled that situation?
I would have got rid of them immediately. I would have got online. I would have made a post about it. I would have talked about it. How I probably would do an open Q&A and talk to the fans about it and tell about what we're going to do to handle this situation. You see, the way I run ROEW and the way I've done anything, we do background checks. We talk to everybody, but also these guys have known each other a long time. But any other person that comes in through the doors of this company, there's going to be a little bit of an investigative background on it, because it's just, we want to be safe. Everybody wants to be safe. And I'm sure anybody that works in my company wants to make sure, hey, if you bring any outsiders, make sure they ain't psycho or they ain't weird or something like that. Let's make sure. I know today's time. Everything's so touchy with this woke stuff, all that. It's none of my business. But you got to
But
be
this is
careful.
different than somebody, let's say, you have, again, I took law, I took criminal justice, I know the field, I've worked in politics. If
Yeah.
Angela's in here, she knows, I know that deal. I'm going to say two things on it from a professional and a crisis management standpoint. Number one, if the owner of that company knew the background of that individual, they should never have had that individual in their company based on the fact of what he did. It's one thing if you had, let's say, marijuana possession. Let's say you had and again, I'm not saying any of these things are good. If it was DUI or something like that, a misdemeanor. Okay, listen, in sports, people go through that and they go back to, and they go on their teams and they do well, and they change their lives and they pay their sins. But and understandably so, when you're a sex offender, if I'm an owner of something, I don't think I would want to relate and work with somebody that has that background, because that speaks to you as an individual, your character, but also I think the people around you, because you put them in awkward situations. What's your thoughts? And again, I don't know enough about it. I really don't know the inner workings of it. It's not my call, but I just think from my experiences, if I knew that somebody was a sex offender and they were in the company that I worked with, you better believe that they would be nowhere near a wrestling ring, and you better believe that I would not even, let alone put a world championship on them. That's just my opinion.
Amen. Period. I mean, you said it plain as day. That's just exactly how it should be. I mean, I think every single company from here on out, after watching this and seeing the posts, and maybe you should go ahead and start doing some background on some of you guys if you don't know. And you might want to weed them out before somebody else finds out something else, because I mean, this is uncalled for. It had to have been said. And I want to thank everybody that has supported me, in my opinion, for ever since I posted. I've gotten a lot of support from a lot of people. So I want to thank
Because
each
I
and
think a
every one
lot
of
of
you that
people
have
don't
reached
want
out
to,
to
and you
me.
know what? Because I think because a lot of people are worried right now that it would affect all of us. And, I
Yes.
think a lot of people are concerned, understandably so. And I think that the information that you had, you should have and post it. I mean, look, again, I have to
Mhm.
go because, my job, I'm a commissioner of deeds. So if there's something, information in front of me by law, I took an oath. So again, I don't know the situation. I don't know. And I don't, first of all, I don't know Mr. Slade. Mr. Slade's never
I
come on
don't either.
Sportswire. He's never been on here.
Yeah.
I don't want to also paint a broad brush to the UWA lock. It's the same with TBW because a lot of guys come on here and you know it's nothing to do with them. I think that's obviously that person, the next person we're going to get to. That's a call that you'd have to ask the people that run that company.
Yeah.
But I think ultimately, at the end of the day, I think if it was known that that individual had that background and that company took a chance on them, and on top of that, put a world title on them, that's obviously something that's poor judgment. But again, I can't comment enough on it, but I would certainly say that company, and that's a company again that to a lot of people in the backyard. So, I've worked with them prior to knowing this. I had no issues with them. I enjoyed them in terms of coming on here. They did the best they could to promote. Aaron Blaze was on here, but ultimately, at the end of the day, if they knew they had this information, they employed this individual to work in their company in a way to put him in a position. That's the case. Let me ask you though. Aaron Blaze wants to come on. He wants to explain himself about the UWA situation. I think I want to give him the floor because he would like to address his position on it. I think it's important tonight that he at least represents that, if only if you're okay with it.
Yeah, I was gonna say something real fast.
Sure, go ahead. Go ahead. While you do that, go ahead. Go ahead, James. Go ahead.
Yeah. Hello?
James, I hear you
Can
now.
you
Go
hear me?
ahead. Now I hear you. Go ahead.
Okay.
Continue.
Can I say something on it real quick?
Yes, you can.
The number one reason why I made my money the way is because anybody that knows me, despite me being some cold Mark or James Taylor, whatever, anybody that really knows me knows that I eat, sleep, and breathe this business, professional backyard underground wrestling. It's my life. I got my life at home, my main concern, but when it comes to my hobby, it's like my life too, and that's wrestling. I eat, sleep, and breathe wrestling, and this is something that I feel that I needed to do for the community because it needs to be handled, it needs to be addressed, and it needs to be handled properly. You know what I mean? So anybody
Okay.
else that wants to talk about it, anybody wants to say
Well,
anything
we're going
else?
to get a lot of people, I think. I know the chat's waiting for it, but I want to give my buddy Aaron Blaze a chance to speak on it because he is one of the champions in UWA, and he's the owner of
Yeah.
YBW. Aaron, good to see you, my man. I know it's not the situation we hoped for, but I obviously want to give you the floor because you work in that company, and I don't want to speak on things that I don't know enough about. So I'd like to give you the floor to kind of represent the company and talk about your position and anything else from there.
Of course. Well, first of all, I hope everyone's doing all right, given the unfortunate circumstances of me coming on a sports wire this late. I should be in bed right now, getting ready for a long day of work.
I
Um,
apologize on that. Sorry.
no, it's okay. You are one of the last people that should be apologizing. Taylor, I hope you're doing great. And if everyone could bear with me,
Thank you.
this is gonna take me a second.
Sure, your time. Okay.
So I was debating whether I would type out a couple of paragraphs, if I would go live on Instagram, how I personally was going to go about this whole thing. But since everyone's here, I figured why not? First of all, I've been reading the comments, and for everyone that's thinking I'm going to stand by UWA and defend this whole thing, I'm not. Um, I can't speak for TBW. I don't work with them. I don't really interact with them on a daily accord to know what is and isn't occurring. So I can't speak for them. So my apologies in advance. But I took a couple of hours to think about how I wanted to tackle this. And it's very hard when some of your close friends are in this, but there's no when it cuts down to it, there's no excuse for this shit. Just none. And I'm not gonna get into the reasons why it bothers me on a different accord. I'm
Sure.
not gonna shift that focus, but I figured someone who's actually on the board should have the decency to tell you what's going on and what has been happening. So, and I feel like I'm going to get heat for saying this, but keep in mind, I'm not that close to some of the people on the roster. I'm not going to say I'm not close to.
It's your moment. I know I don't know enough about this. You have the floor.
So, we did know about Tyler. Um,
And that would be Mr. Slade, I would imagine, for the
yeah,
audience. Okay.
we did know about it, and we the thing about it, whether it happened or not, or if it's a false charge, we're never going to know the truth. And
Right.
honestly, I think that's the scariest part when it boils down to it. Um, in a way, and even though a lot of decisions aren't really mine to make when it boils down to UWA, I kind of feel, in a sense, responsible for this in a way. Like, I feel like I'm kind of to blame. I feel like I should have put my foot down because when we did figure this stuff out, there was a meeting on if Tyler should have won the title. It was a 4-1 vote saying he should. I was the person that said no. From a
Okay.
business
I mean, look,
from a business standpoint, from a circumstantial standpoint, I said he shouldn't win the title because I knew this was going to happen, and it did. And we we woke up to what um Mr. Taylor here posted, and I'm not blaming you at all, Taff. Someone should have said it. It should have been addressed a long time ago. Because like this is real shit.
yeah,
You
this
know,
is
I
like,
have
well, we're hee hee ha ha. This is unfortunately something that's a person has a record individually. This is, definitely unfortunate to say the least. Very
yeah, like I have friends that have been affected by this. I have family that have been affected by this kind of
sure,
stuff.
sure,
I've I've been affected by this kind of
sure.
stuff.
I'm sorry
And
about that. I'm sorry about that.
it's okay. It's okay. But
Well,
I
like I
originally
told you, I
came
don't mean
back.
to interrupt you,
You're good.
Blaze.
Go ahead.
I,
You're good.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but like I told you earlier today, whether you knew or not, I mean, you've done nothing wrong, really. You're fine. It's the fact of what it is, and the actual owner of the company needs to handle it and address it. You shouldn't be on here representing them. It should be him, the other
Yeah,
guy.
I
I
think
don't
that's an interesting point. The owner, he's not. I don't see the owner of UWA here, and I don't know where TBW stands on the next individual. I'll wait till that happens, but you know, I don't know enough on what his position are. And it's unfortunate. But continue, Mr. Blaze.
you're fine. And I do feel responsible because a lot of things, in a sense, like certain
That's what's up.
events, the way we've been doing things, like a lot of it, I've been pushing for. Like, I've been pushing for better production. I've been pushing for collaborations.
Yeah,
I've
the
been
last show
pushing.
did really well. You guys had a lot of views. The video improved finally. You didn't have like the 1998 VHS looking quality for a lot of the. It seemed like there was growth in the way WCE has made this radical comeback. I mean, WCE now is on the road to where it was when it first came here. I mean, I think there was steps that were going in that direction, but obviously with now with this news that's been revealed today, I mean, there's just, unfortunately, there's no going back.
Right. And the very frustrating thing is, like, I was the one that made the post on the UWA account. Like, I was the one saying, okay, give me a second, give me a couple minutes. Like, that whole caption of how everything was worded, I pushed for that. Um, how we were going to move forward, and I'm not going to expose that. Uh, I pushed for that too. It's just, and I don't care if he gets mad at this. I love Jake to death, but it's pure fucking laziness. And that's why UWA isn't where it should be. And this makes it worse. I don't like how he's not handling it. I shouldn't have to babysit him. I shouldn't have to help him with
Well,
his
you own
show.
your own company and you handle that. As I'm in the YBW chats now. I mean, I see what you're doing with YBW. Dominic's here, cheap plug on the 25th. But the point is that, I think look, it's what it is. There's really nothing that, it's up to him. He's not here. I can't speak onto why he's not here to address it. I think that
No,
as
and
the owner,
I literally just texted him 10 minutes ago and I said, "You need to be here. You need to be here." And he just texted something in one of the chats and said that if you have my cell phone, call me. Like he's gonna go idle on social media or whatever. And that's not how you handle things. Running away from your problems doesn't fix them, especially when you owe these people an explanation. Like, I shouldn't have to be here to do that for you. Like, I'm here because I busted my ass not only to come back into UWA, but to make
you
it better
traveled
than
a
what it
long way to
was.
listen. You traveled a long way to go there. You did a lot to help that company. You were in some really big storylines with Jake, Chase Sullivan, Tristan Taylor, Brett Anderson, who came on. You definitely did a lot to help that company. And unfortunately, that's all gone by the wayside. And it's again, I'm not the owner of that company. It would be unfair for me to, speak on behalf of anybody. But it's obviously a horrible situation, and it's one that I think by not being accountable, it's really terrible, to be honest.
It is, and like, I'm sorry, I'm trying not to break down right now. I'm
No,
fucking
no, no,
piecing
and
and
we know
sewing.
that, and I know what it means to you because, like, unfortunately, it's a terrible, and we don't wish this on anybody, and I think that it's terrible because it's all of us. It impacts all of the community, right? Because UWA's come on to Sportswire, and we've covered them. People know them. People have wrestled there that didn't have anything to do with it, and even from other places. And it's a black eye for. I don't even think it's just backyard wrestling. Because like I said, I have experiences with the Speak Out movement in the UK because I was covering British wrestling when that happened, and that was a thing that took. I think only until it took about 2 or 3 years for British independent wrestling to get over the Speak Out movement. So this is, but again, the owner of the company, by not putting a statement out or a video and saying, I apologize, I'm very sorry. We'd like to obviously thank everybody for tuning in for UWA, but we now obviously are going to make some swift changes. And he didn't do that. I mean, again, I can't speak on behalf of that. And James Taylor's got horrible Wi-Fi here tonight. I don't know what it is with you, James.
God
Okay.
love you. God love
But
you.
the gods are striking James
I have
Taylor
no
down.
idea what it is. Can you hear me okay?
I don't know.
Yes,
I mean,
I can. I
I can
can.
hear you now, James. But go ahead.
I don't know what's going on. I'm sorry. I guess they're hacking.
No, but
And Aaron,
it's,
it's fuck. All right, can you hear me now?
yeah, we can
You
hear.
really don't sound very good. But go ahead. I'm going to parcel through because I have some other people that are going to come on and talk about this. If you don't have a good Wi-Fi tonight, because people want to talk about this right now. But go ahead, James. He don't have it in him.
God damn it, James.
I'm gonna reset. I'm gonna reset my Wi-Fi here in just a few minutes and see if I can fix that.
Why don't you do that now? Because Aaron wants to talk about UWA, and I need to bring somebody else on. So why don't you go do that? I don't want to keep you here forever, Mr. Blaze, because I can see this is
Yeah, no,
emotionally impacting you. And I just want to tell you that I think the people in the community, from what you're telling us, they're going to stand. They know that it's not your fault. They know you had nothing to do
but
with it.
I feel like it is because like I try to bring people up with me. Like I keep noticing this thing where I work with certain people and something just keeps getting fucked. Like I worked in XCW and you saw how that went. I worked in CBW. You saw how that went, even though it's pretty much the same thing, but we're not going to go there. I try to work with ATK. You saw how that went. And now I go back to a place that was my home and this shit happens. So
Well, you worked in ROEW, and there wasn't any problems in ROEW. Let me
no,
remind you that ROEW is. I know ROEW, and we know the people there because Big Man Cam was a correction officer. He's out there right now, I'm sure. But no, I think look, it is what it is. You can only go forward. I think the people see that you're accountable. They see that you're a man, and that people know that you're a good person. I know that a lot of people are going to definitely have their opinions about UW, and I agree with them. I want to make it clear there is no toleration for any type of stuff that happens with that. We don't condone that. I always tell people, I took criminal justice and law. I worked in politics, and all the candidates, I could never look. I'm going to say it. I could never look Stephen Stappercy in the eye, former state senator Marty Golden. I could never look, Congressman Michael Graham. I could never look all the elected officials that I worked for, and to say that we would be supporting something like that. So there's nothing that I could say, even if they might be a very good person since. And I wish people to have a good, productive life, but you can't, unfortunately support any type of behavior in those individuals for that, because it's not acceptable, and it's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. I want to put it out there. It's not your fault, and I think God is going to judge those that were in the right and in the wrong, and that's just and I think I'm handling it very calmly tonight. I think that we're giving people a chance to speak and hear this out, and you know I think it impacts everybody because people know you. They know. I mean, I have people messaging me that aren't even in the chat that are telling me they know it's okay. Unfortunately, it's what it is.
no, it is, and I don't even know what else to say, Tom,
No,
because
the best you could do is get a good night's sleep. You said your piece. And I think that what we should all think about is also the people that were involved in that, those victims. I think that that's also a good point. I think DG put that in the chat, and they look, I don't know what the future of UWA is. I don't know it would be much of a future after this. I mean, that's obviously up to the individual. You run your company well. YBW is doing good. And, look, it's what you'll only go forward. There's just nothing you can do about it, but just move forward. And I think people, see that you're accountable. I think that you shouldn't have had to have spoke on behalf of the company, but that's a decision that the individual that owns it has to cross that bear. Has to bear. They have to bear that cross. I mean, it's nothing I could really do about that. I mean,
right, and I have tried being understanding about so many things that I don't even want to fucking get into because I know it's just gonna piss me off even more. But I think this was the last straw, so I'm letting it be known right now on Sportswire. I don't care if the rest of my shit airs with my Heritage Title run. I love and appreciate a handful of people there and their families, but like I already was taking a break from Tennessee. Um, I wrapped up all of my stuff back in August. So I'm not gonna say how, but I, as far as I'm concerned, I am a free agent.
okay.
You will see me back in ROEW sometime. You'll see
And
me in
YBW,
YBW.
still have YBW. Just make
Maybe
sure you
in
mention.
YBW. I don't know. Dominic
Well, how
cut
about
me off.
WCE? By the way, WCE, they got the views now. They got the views.
Damn it, Tom. I'm trying to be serious, but
They got the viewers though. The viewership is there.
maybe,
WCE might be they might be back on top. WC might be number one again. Who would have guessed that?
maybe. But I just know that unless like a miracle happens where there is real action taken
Okay.
or someone else is in charge, if it's me, Jay, Cody, Eric, Jay, Phil, I'm I don't want anything to do with UWA.
No,
Like
and to be honest, I think it's highly unfair. I think DG, you really don't know me at all. That this is not a game. This is a company that it's no. I'm going to cut you off right now. This isn't about a plug about WC. He said he's a free agent, so I'm going to slow your roll because first of all, UWA, they're even for first of all that company. this individual who owns the company is not even here. He's a coward. If we're really going to go there, what's his name? Jay Cowell? He's a coward. He's a coward for not being here. I mean, no, I'm going to cut you off. No, there's no joking about it. I'm not joking about it. You want to hear what you want to hear, but I'm giving you honestly a whole bunch of what I think is the truth from my opinion. So you're going to sit down there, you're going to hear what I have to say, and if you don't like it, go put your own stream out there, because here are the facts, and I'm going to get into it. Now you're getting me riled up, and I hear you all the time with your stuff, what you got to say. Now I'm going to speak. Yes, you shouldn't be here. Let's kick the ballistics for a second. UWA should be here. Jay Cal is a coward for not being here. You should not be here in near tears. And Anthony Steele is going to come on here, and he's going to say something to you. He's going to definitely talk to you for a few minutes, and I'm going to give him that opportunity. He wants to speak. But here's the truth. The owner of the company, if I was the owner of that company, I would be here right now and issuing a formal apology. If I would be on Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, all those platforms, and saying to the people that I represent, the people that have supported my platform, and where is he? Where is he? That's the question. So I'm going to let DG, you're welcome to be in the chat. You've been a friend. I appreciate you. But at the end of the day, the owner of that company, he didn't take responsibility. Everything's about actions and responsibility, right? You shouldn't be on here in near tears representing a company that doesn't care. UWA doesn't care about any of this. Where is UWA? I don't see anything from Jay Cal. Is he in his pajamas right now? Seriously, that's when he was here on Sportswire. If we're really going to go there, he was on Sportswire in pajamas. Pajamas. You come on, you're in prime time, the brightest lights, the biggest stage, and you're in pajamas?
I'm not wearing pajamas.
You got at least a thing, but listen, the facts are is that why is not the owner of the company? He's not here. The owner of the company, and I see we're on the same page. He's the owner of a company. And I'm going to say it. If Soldier had this happen in his company, he would be here right away. If Soldier had something with this, I mean, any other company that I could think of, I'm baffled that the owner of UWA is not here to talk about this. I'm baffled. As a matter of fact, I mean, I hope TBW, also their owner, makes a statement on this. I'm going to be honest. I don't understand what took TBW so long to come out and say, yeah, we didn't know. We're sorry Joe Anderson's released. If you knew about this, you should have made the statement just before hours. What did they, I think DG said it was 8 hours. What did they wait, 8 hours after UWA did or something like that? You should absolutely come out and say, we don't tolerate it. He's gone, and scrub whatever information he's on out there. That's not right. That is not right. Anybody, if you own something, if you own a business, you're a public figure. I mean, at the end of the day, I mean, that's unacceptable. I'm going to bring Anthony on because Anthony wants to say something. Anthony, I'm bringing you onto the floor because I know, Anthony, you would agree with me that I don't think I was plugging anything, and I think I was doing my best to be fair, and in many ways I tried to give Jay Cal as much rope as I can, but now, in a way, I'm listening to DG. He's got some points, and I'm trying to be as very kind as I can about this, but the facts are is that the owner of the UWA did not say anything about it.
All right. So, can y'all hear me?
I can hear you, because James. I think you're going to be here the whole night because James Taylor, obviously, the FBI wiretapped his information.
So let's talk about it. Let's talk about both. Blaze, let's talk about both situations because we really haven't brought up the second situation, and I'm gonna live up to my moniker of why I got inducted for a third fucking time here. So, ladies and gentlemen, or second time, my bad. First of all, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter of what they're charged with. If it's a sex offender or if it's a fucking pedophile, homie, you don't deserve to be around children at all. And legally,
any wrestling promotion, let alone a wrestling promotion, they don't deserve to be there.
It is a federal law that if you are a sex offender or a pedophile, you are legally obligated, especially with going to someone's house, to tell them, hey, I'm a registered sex offender. I'm a registered pedophile. You are legally obligated to do that because there's children present. At TBW, there's children present. Shoot, I'm really good with CJ. Do I know if he knew before this or not? No. But if he didn't, CJ has a newborn kid, man. CJ has a daughter. And to have someone like that fucking around, bro, that shit pisses me the fuck off. For the simple fact that you're going to sit here and you're going to act like everything's fucking all right. Homie, you can say people change, but I live by one term. Once a pedophile, always a fucking pedophile. Once a sex offender, always a sex offender. If you do it once, you'll do it the fuck again. So with that being fucking said, y'all want to fucking play Ring Around the Rosie with these motherfuckers. And I'm not talking about y'all on the screen. I'm talking about some of the people in the chat. Y'all need to take in consideration, motherfuckers out here have kids. Motherfuckers out here have actual fucking kids that come to these shows. And they have to be around this. Now without them knowing this, who's to say one of them didn't take one of their kids and be like, hey, come here for a second. Let me and do something. Or try to do something.
If you were in that company, Anthony, what would you have done if you were in that company when you
Okay,
knew?
first of all, I'm gonna take what Aaron Blaze said. If I would have known that Sammy Slade was a fucking pedo, homie, I handle things different. One, he would have been out of that company. There was no discussion about being a world champion. There's no discussion. There's no championships. There's no further matches. There's nothing like that. There is a get the fuck out the door the same way you fucking entered.
How could you make him a world champion if you knew that information?
So,
I mean, what knucklehead would do that decision?
And two, if y'all knew, Blaze, I understand you're not part of the management team like that. You can't make decisions like that. But for the people that can make the fucking decisions in UWA, let me bring up one factor. Let me bring up one fucking factor.
Yes.
2 years ago, I stepped foot in UWA. Blaze, I know you know this story.
I might.
2 years ago, I stepped foot in UWA. I had one match that fucking night. And then Captain Law wanted to bring up my failed order protections that a landlord had on me and a girl had on me because her boyfriend tried to come at me and fight me. And both of them failed. Both of them failed because I was found not guilty because I wasn't at fault. But then you kick me to the curb. You say, no more Anthony Steele in UWA. We can't afford to have that on our product. But you sit here with a fucking rapist on your fucking platform.
And they complained to him, according to James. How about this? James talked about the fact that he tried to give constructive criticism to Jake Allen. He kind of brushed him off. I mean, I defended Jake during that situation. When James told us, I was like, no, they're trying. But James said that he was trying to give them. So this guy is an idiot. I got to be honest, an idiot.
I have always said, and Anthony can vouch for this because I am an old head. I smell bullshit a mile away, and I could tell something was different from so long ago. Like something ain't right. And yeah, I mean, you can't even take constructive criticism. But hey, I'm not here to. It's fine.
Look, I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna go off on this topic, and then I'm gonna go to the next fucking one,
which I think people are waiting for to talk about. Obviously,
so
it's the other second one.
If y'all knew UWA, I'm speaking to your whole goddamn fucking your talent, everybody, everyone that fucking knew that day that y'all fucking known, and y'all still go out there and fucking perform for that company, dude. Hop off my Instagram, hop off my fucking Facebook, hop out of my inbox. Don't contact me. Don't ask me if I want to come fucking wrestle with y'all. Nah. Because the people like you, people that be like, oh, I knew about it and I'm not going to say fucking anything and I'm just going to let shit fucking happen. You're the people that let others fucking get that happen to them. Y'all are the people that doesn't handle a situation. You let a situation have the possibility of getting fucking worse. And that's some of the worst fucking people in the goddamn fucking world. And let's move over to the other fucking situation. Joe Anderson. Yes. Joe Anderson. Now, this ain't personal with you, homie. This ain't personal. From the messages I got, I know someone that knows the messages I got is going to try to say this is a personal beef. This ain't no personal beef. You're on the registry, homie. The funny thing is, on my computer right the fuck now, I have 2 tabs open, both with both of y'all's names on it, with your entire fucking list of what you were convicted of. So I want someone to fucking please say that anything I'm about to say is a fucking lie, because I will screenshot it and post it on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, fucking TikTok, anything and everywhere that I fucking can.
Proof's in the pudding.
You're a sex offender, dude. You're a sex offender. And you come to TBW. TBW definitely has kids in their fucking audience.
Yeah, and
I'll say this. I haven't spoken to this man in a long fucking time. But there's one thing I do know about one dude. Jay Wild has a fucking daughter, dude. Jay Wild, one of the biggest fucking people in that company that stands here today, has a daughter.
If I can chime in really quick, speaking of that, last year when ATK left and he wanted to move into Tennessee and do TBW, guess who tried to get him to move in with him when he was 17? Joe.
Really?
Say that again for the audience one more time, because that sounds. I'm a little bit. That's not a thing. We say that
So
again, please.
last year, when me and ATK had a falling out, he left YBW and he was going to join TBW. He was going to move to Tennessee, and Joe tried to get him to live with him. And he was 17 years old.
So,
Oh my goodness!
Hey,
Please,
Blaze.
I mean, this
hey
is.
Blaze,
Oh
that
my
way
God.
that way no one can say I'm lying. I'm gonna read it off. This is what he pled guilty for. December 16th, 2012, sexual battery, guilty plea as charged. December 16th, 2012, assault, physical contact, guilty plea as charged. And then in October 31st, on Halloween of 2016, probation violation, guilty plea as charged.
Now 2 and
Halloween
16, 1 and 12,
2016.
correct? 2 and 16, 1 and
Yeah,
12 is what
he broke probation in 2016. 2016. And if I do remember, he got with TBW in what, 2018, 2019?
And also had and wasn't also there a stint in UWA as a UWA champion, right?
Yeah.
Correct me if I'm wrong.
Yeah. He might have not, I don't know, it doesn't give an age, but sexual battery, and he's listed as a sex offender.
Mac 10 also mentioned there was one in 2015. I'd like to bring that Mac.
Not for
Anthony. There should be at least 4 to 5 charges.
He's got Mac 10.
So here we go. To November 15, 2011, both of these were assault on a minor, assault, threat of bodily injury. Both charges dismissed. Both charges dismissed on that one. So, but literally, a lot of these are dismissed because they're all the same charge. They're literally all the same charge. Sex offender registration form violation. He violated his fucking probation because of being a fucking sex offender. So I literally, hey, Pro Wrestling Omega, hop in this fucking chat and try to argue with me.
I was going to ask you
about
that. I wanted to ask. Well, I actually do want to ask this for the chat because I don't know enough about this because you both worked in TBW, obviously. In your opinion, do you think that the management of TBW knew about Joe Anderson's past? From your opinion, I don't know. Again, I wasn't there.
That I don't know.
Okay.
I'm gonna
I don't
know. I don't know because like I told James earlier, when I found out everything, and I told James.
Okay, so you, Anthony. So one more time, you say you don't know when you worked there. You don't think the management knew or did know. What would you say?
I can't say for sure if they knew or not. Nothing was brought to my attention. Okay. Nothing was told to me. For the simple fact that, again, if y'all caught me back then at TBW, I didn't talk to a lot of people because a lot of people didn't like me. But when I'll say this. There's one person that I'm not going to name names that was told by Joe Anderson what the charge was. That Joe Anderson told this individual that he knew the person was underage. He was talking to the underage person, and he didn't get caught by the parents. He got caught by the cops, and that's how he got his fucking registry. So if you know, this is to anybody out there. If you know that the person is not 18 in the country of the United States of America, 18 years of age.
Battery February 2nd, 2015. Thank you, Mac, for bringing that up.
Okay, all of this, the only thing that I have is literally just his sex offender shit. Okay. Now, any other fucking crime he has, I don't fucking know about. I didn't go that deep. But literally, I'm on the Tennessee sex offender registry. And for anyone that wants to know, his offender number is 005473998. Y'all can find all of that out. Go to Tennessee Sex Offender Registry and you can look up his fucking name.
Now, I want to ask James because you were just in TBW more recent than Anthony. Again, I don't know. I have to ask this question. When you were in TBW, do you think that the management of TBW knew that Joe Anderson had this background as being a registered sex offender?
So at the time that I was actually there, which the last time I was there was June of 2023. You can look at the record books. It was anniversary.
I know you were here on Sportzwire, I'm pretty sure, after.
Yeah. At that time, I had no clue of it at all. I did not find out until very recently. And so as far as them knowing, I mean, I don't know. I'm going to say some people probably knew who hung out with him and was close with him and didn't say nothing, but I can't speak for them because
now, I have to ask you, let me ask you a follow-up. if you were in the company, because you were a top guy there, you were a guy that was in big storylines there. If you were in that company and you knew his past, would you speak up? Would you say something? What would you
Oh,
do in that situation?
100%. That's why the whole reason why I did the fucking Instagram. I'm sorry, I'm getting hot about it.
It's okay.
That's
It's
the whole
okay.
reason why I did the post that I did yesterday, because when I found out about it, and the main thing was because of the Sammy Slade thing, but that's why I said something, because it was on my heart. I'm like, I can't believe that somebody like this is a champion in a company and he's registered. So I decided I
Yeah.
needed to say something, because
And
if
there's
I
no
had
and
found
there's no
out,
place, and I want to say that there is no place for any. And listen, I want to make this clear. One more thing, I want to get this off my chest before I bring Darkron in here, as I know DG's here, and I want anybody that's listening. I don't condone anything on any level of this. I just want to make that clear. I there was nothing to me that says this person that was in this company, these two individuals, I don't even want to give them recognition. These people are not supported. They're not supported by any stretch of the imagination here. And anybody to support them would be absolutely not welcomed on this platform and not supported. So this is not about, okay, he wrestles somewhere, we support them because blah blah blah. No, if you did what you did with these two individuals, you got to go. There's nothing other than that. You cannot be welcomed. This is not condoned. And I didn't know his history because I've only had Joe Anderson on as a background person. I don't really know him, Joe Anderson, but so it makes you wonder though, James. He didn't really have a social media. Do you think that was in part to that, Joe Anderson? Do you think that that's a part?
Oh, God, I don't even want to think about
you know,
that.
you put two and together, there probably could be a reason. I mean, because you got the risk of seeing all kinds of shit on there, and him probably fighting his urge. Who knows? But I really don't know.
Hey,
but you never know.
I'm here with
there's
Jack
one other
Spade,
thing.
the icon Jack Spade, and Mr. I think are we here with Joe Stone and
There's-
Matthew Fonseca? But we're here with Mr.
No,
Darkon.
I didn't change it yet. Yeah.
Okay, well, first of all, how you feeling? I wish you were here in a better note, but you're a father, Darkon. I want to get your
Yeah.
perspective here. And what do you think? What's going on here? I mean, this
Can I
is
say
just
one
still.
last thing before I go?
Yes, you can go after this, but please, yes, go ahead. All right, Anthony, you're at the floor.
So there's one last thing that I don't know if a couple of y'all know.
Okay.
I'm about to say the real reason why Anthony Steele has not been to WCE.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I know where you're going with this.
It is the same reason. And I'm gonna say this. I'm gonna say this because there's one person in the chat that I have not spoken to in weeks. But there's one person in this chat that knows this conversation that I'm about to speak on, and she was there. So whether she wants to speak up on it or not, I'll leave that to her. But there's a man in WCE who's on the registry.
Man. Go on.
There's a person on there that is on the registry. That is the real reason why Anthony Steele has not shown up to WCE. That's the real reason why I have not condoned even going to Wisconsin. For that reason and that reason only. For the simple fact that it was cool to talk with Jovi. You know, I'm cool with Jovi, all that shit. But the person I declined and offered to have a match with this person. I was offered a match against this man, and because I found out that he was on the registry, I told him no. Because again, we have 5 wrestlers in this chat right now on this screen. If y'all knew, this is one question I want to ask y'all. If y'all knew that a man that either you're going to a company to face or that man is coming to you and you find out either while he's on the way or while he's there or right before it, are you going to wrestle a man that has been on either the sex offender registry or a pedophile?
No.
Would you wrestle?
No.
Nope.
No.
God, no.
No.
Would you?
No.
Spade.
No.
Well,
Honest.
that depends on what he's on the registry for. Because a lot of people
Underage.
don't know this. You can end up on that registry for a lot of things. Now, I'm not condoning what those folks did. I didn't see the registry. I know what they in there for. But I will say this, and this is the whole reason I decided to come on here. I feel like we're giving our attention to the wrong shit right now. I feel like there's just so many wonderful things going on in the world of wrestling that we could be talking about right now. And when we divert our attention away from those things just to give them to these people who will all admit openly that doesn't deserve it, I mean, it just kind of takes away from it. I mean, Ledger Shade just made his return. How can we be talking about that? I mean, there's just so many things going on right now in your companies, my company. I mean, I'm sure there's 100 things all of us would rather be talking about right now. And when we give the attention to these people, it's kind of, I'm not saying we should just ignore what they did. We all know what they did. We should all accept what they did, and they should face the consequences of that. But I mean,
This is
I'm
something
just
that
saying,
needed
there's
to be
just
addressed. This is something that needed to be addressed. Of course, I'd rather be talking much more about just regular wrestling, but you got to take into consideration that it's not one, not even two. I'm sure there's 3, 4, 5 others out there that still ain't been found, that have issues that are have this problem, and there are a young audience that watches all of us somewhere,
yeah,
somehow, some
yeah.
fashion or another. And if I had kids, I'm not all y'all who have kids. Matt, there you go, Darkron. You got kids. I don't think you want your kids watching somebody who's a sicko, because
I think
My
that's
son wrestles.
I
sure as
agree with
fuck
that,
wouldn't.
James. I think that
My
there's
son
no.
wrestles with my
I
son
Guys,
feel
you
wrestles
want
with
to say?
her.
I feel you
want
on that.
Okay, go
But
ahead.
let me tell y'all something about Jack Spade. Jack Spade was raised around a lot of old folks. And one saying that I learned was never clean your house with the door open. You know what I'm saying? When you getting out all your trash, when you cleaning up and you getting the people out there that need to get out of there, you tell the people that need to know, you tell the people that are affected by this, but like you don't need to have that out in the open. You know what I'm saying? I'm pretty sure there was a different way we could have all came together, handled this, excommunicated them, blackballed them. We could have got them out the business. We could have got them. But right now we're giving them attention, and they don't deserve that attention. We're giving them time that we don't get back, and they don't deserve that time. We're giving them all this stuff that they don't deserve. And I feel like I said, I understand this stuff needed to be addressed. It did need to be addressed, and it did need to be made publicly known. But I just don't feel right giving a pedophile my attention,
I
my time and energy.
completely, I
I only got
personally
so
agree
many
with that,
seconds on this
Jameson.
earth, and I don't want to spend it, I want to spend it wrestling. I'm not saying we should be naive to the bad things and just forget about them. Like I said, we should address them, but I feel like there is a different way without giving these folks the kind of attention, because at the end of the day, they're going to take all these words we say, and people are smart. They're going to turn them around, and they're going to make this, and they're going to make themselves out to be the victim, this, that, and the third, and you just never know. I feel like the best thing we could do is to sweep them under the rug, basically Benoit this whole situation. You know what I'm saying?
You want to say something, James, before I let Darkron, because Darkron's been patiently waiting. He's the one father here in the chat, and I want to let him have a perspective, because I don't have his opinion on anything. I can't relate. What did you like to say, James?
I'll say something in a little bit. Darkron,
Okay,
you have the
let me
floor.
give
Go
it to
for it.
Darkron, because he's got the experience that is a father. So I want to hear what he has to say on it.
Yeah, like my whole thing is my son. He wrestles with us. He's out there traveling, and he gets put in there in situations that I don't know who he's facing. And hopefully it's somebody I can trust. I try to meet him. I try to walk through, talk to him, whatever. But I don't know their past, and I don't know I don't feel comfortable questioning people. So this being brought to my attention really helps, James, because honestly, we were trying to get down to TBW, and that was like a big thing for us. Now I kind of
You got to second guess it right now. I understand.
because my daughter too, and she gets involved in she likes to watch, and she's a little bit younger.
Mm-hmm.
No, I'm not. I got my daughter's pretty attractive. She's a competition cheer. I worry about her, and that
You're a
shit just
father. You
Blame
really
you.
should.
I
You're a
don't blame
father.
you.
You
Yeah.
should.
that shit really weighs on me. And when I'm trying to perform, I don't want to be worrying about her in the crowd.
This is the reason why I express this opinion, because of guys like you who are fathers. you know. And Jack Spade, with all due respect, I completely agree a lot with what you
No,
said.
no, I totally agree with you too.
Yeah, I do.
But
But I needed to know, and that was like, I'm not that type of person to go in and invade and poke and try to know everybody's personal life. And if something was to happen to my daughter while I'm wrestling, I don't know if I'd ever be able to wrestle again.
Does that make you think about what the future, like you talked about TBW as an example? Does that
Look, like I said before in the chat, I'm not going to hold everybody in the locker room accountable for what one person did.
right.
Right.
Yeah, I think that's a fair point. There are people that just, what if they just worked in the company? What are the, what if people, I
Right.
mean,
And like I
that's up
said
to
to you,
management of the company. It's a different, now the management of the company, I think, is where a lot of
right.
us would have to agree that if they knew and they allowed that to fester, that's not right. That's not acceptable, and we don't tolerate that here. And nobody
I know
should tolerate.
one person in TBW has reached out and was like concerned if anybody was ill will against him, if they looked down upon, and I won't say his name or anything, but I let him know right now. No, I don't think nothing. I don't compare you to him whatsoever. Whatever he's done has nothing to do with you.
Right. Right.
And some people know who I'm talking about, but I want him to know I don't have no problem with him being here. What that person did has nothing to do with him. But what James did, bringing this to our attention, helped me a
No, I think
lot.
what James did is very important tonight, because if somebody is on information, we want to know about that, because there are people in locker rooms that they deserve to know, because we have fathers. If you're in a locker room right now and you're a father and you have kids, you should absolutely know about it. And I'm joined here by, actually, I can't, there we go. I think my mouse is clicking. There we go. We're joined here by Mac 10. Mac, how you doing? Nice to see you. I know you want to talk about this, and I'd like to get your perspective on it.
Oh, my phone just fell. Give me one.
You lost him.
No, you didn't. I just dropped my phone. I
Okay.
took my charger, so it fell. But no, like the bad thing is about this is the fact that nobody knows. Like I said in the chat, if you're running from your problems, it makes you look even more guilty. If you come straight forward with the problems that you're having, or that people are accusing you of, and come straight forward with facts and everything
Be
else.
honest. Be honest. Honesty goes a long way.
Exactly. Because to the fact of this, I'm right there with Kron. I've got kids. I went to a show that had a sex offender on it. They're staying away from him. I'd go to it, find out who it was, be like, not working with him, gone.
Right.
Yeah, no, 100%. I think 1,010% that this needs to be addressed. James, if you had the information and you didn't tell us, that would be worse, because at the end of the day, you have to let people know. It's not acceptable, because we have fathers.
I would have been disappointed in you, James.
Yes, and we have
Right.
fathers that are in our companies. We have people that they have families, so you had to tell you. You did the right thing.
It was on my heart about it, and I didn't feel right. I felt it needed to be addressed. I didn't name drop at that time. I just wanted to express my opinion, and then it went from there. I just let it naturally happen to see how people would react, and this is where
Well,
we're at tonight. And
see,
I'm glad it came out to where people are supporting the fact of it.
it came out with what you said, and then I was paying attention to a couple of the groups that I watch a lot, and it came out on Deathmatch Elite. And I'm like, what the heck? So I contacted the guy that posted it, trying to find out more information on how he found out, but he hasn't gotten back to me on it. Like he not only what's bad about it is not only did he out these companies, but he also turned around and outed UWF.
Oh, okay.
So I'm starting to find out a lot more than just what's going on here.
So, side note for everyone to know, the name is Craven Rage.
Like I said, just to rebuttal, like I said, I'm not arguing with the fact that this needed to be brought out because it did. It did. It just, to me, it feels like a catch-22, you know, because while the people needed to know,
And we're being
at the
joined
same
by
time,
now Tonka, because he's a father. He wants to speak on this, so he's next to talk.
but
So
at
go
the
ahead.
same time, I feel like it's just sad we're giving them the spotlight, we're giving them the attention, and you know, like I said, it's a catch-22. At one point, on one hand, yes, this needed to
And
be
we're
known,
told
and
here,
people.
I just want to put it out. I sorry to cut you off. This
Okay.
person
I
can
agree.
verify what Mr. Steele just talked about when it came to Mr. Rage. So, Mr. Rage, unfortunately, you are now the next person, and you obviously have somebody to confirm that, Mr. Steele. Is that somebody?
See, my thing is, I don't mean to like. I'm not trying to be here and just like stir up the pot even fucking more. But at the same
But
time,
people
like
need to know that
when
because we have
people do
fathers
need to know
here, you know.
because
Mm.
because when I moved back to Illinois, I had a conversation with Jovi.
My son
And
wrestled.
I was told Jovi and them were running the platform. So I was like, okay, so it means Craven's gone, all that. And then I was like, cool. If Craven's gone, let's work. Let's do some shit. And then I come to find out that there's still management, just not calling the shots for the bookings and all that. And that's when I was like, I can't. I can't.
Sister, so you can't not sit on this information. If
Yeah,
somebody
that's
has this information, you have to tell people. If
like
you don't,
my thing is when I find out this shit, like I don't. There's a phrase, Jack, as you said, you were raised up on a phrase. There's a phrase I was raised up. If she ain't 18 and over, she can't get in the cover. Straight the fuck up. Listen, if she's 17, there's no kissing, there's no doing anything like that. We can't be having that bullshit around. We can't. Like if you 100% know that person is not 18, don't kiss them, don't do anything like that. If they present a fake ID, you better know what a real ID fucking looks like. And see that's the fucking thing around here nowadays. Is you also got those people that try to catch motherfuckers. So true story. And I told Mac about this. A buddy of mine that I used to work with in NJPW, who by marriage is a part of my actual family.
And I also want to say one more thing, Anthony. Atomic Titan is coming on. He wants to address the Joe Anderson situation.
That's
So then,
do what you got to do. But
okay, go ahead.
he just got out of prison. For dating a girl that was underage. And when I promise you, when I met this girl, if I can have someone come on here and she can validate this. I looked at her and I looked at him and I was like, that girl's not 18. I was like, that girl's not fucking 18. And I told him, I was like, you better ask for fucking ID, something. He got popped. He spent, I think it was like 3 or 4, maybe 5 fucking years in prison. And it's on the registry because of that dumb shit. See, this is why a lot of people, and I'll say this because I've been very open about it to a lot of people. Dude, I date girls older than me. For one of those being the most valid fucking reason. Because if you look 30, there's no, unless you fucking did crack at the age of 12, there ain't no reason why you should look older than what the fuck you are.
At the age of 12, Anthony, right. I know we're breaking away from. I really hope nobody does crack at the age of 12. Please
like, my thing is I need proof of shit like that. That's why like it's around these times. It's 2024, guys.
Yes,
yep.
It's 2024.
Yep.
You have to go into shit with fucking precaution on everything. Everything you fucking
be honest. If you can be honest with me, then I can look. I knew about Craven Rage the moment my son stepped in the ring with him, but he talked to me, and I talked to him, and I let him wrestle my son. But then afterwards, he hurt him, and he hurt him multiple times.
What was in that conversation, if you're allowed to elaborate, what was in that conversation that led you to why you made that decision?
To me, what he told me is that he was with a 17-year-old girl, and that's all it was, and that he was 19 at the time, So you're wrestling my son, and that's it, right? And that's it. Leave it at that. I don't want to talk to you no more. Like, and I tried to, like, seriously tried stop talking to him, and he just keeps coming.
Okay, so that's what Pro Wrestling Omega was talking about, was that one.
See, but it doesn't. At that point, no offense, like I can kind of understand why Kron let him still wrestle. He was there, all that shit.
Drove 10 hours for him
But like
to wrestle, and that's
I understand that, but at the same time, dude, everyone here knows. Everyone here is over the age of fucking 18. Every single last person in this call. You know, if they're not 18, 18 is the legal age of consent.
Yes.
Look it up. Look it up. It is no longer 17 in any fucking state. It is 18 nation fucking wide. If that person is not 18, don't touch them.
And they can't come back
fucking
here.
go near them.
I want to let it known. Rage, Sammy Slade, and Joe Anderson, they cannot be anywhere near here. We do not condone that. And Dark Kron basically said something that's extremely vital for people to know. We don't tolerate that, and I don't think anywhere, because you don't associate with that at your own home, right? You don't associate yourself in the world with that. You don't associate with your family with that. So there's no toleration for this. There's no place for it. And we do not accept and welcome anybody with that. Just like in the Speak Out movement I talked about, that was not welcomed when I was covering British wrestling during that time. We don't condone it. We don't accept it. Can't
Still
accept
gullible
it.
for it.
Like one prime example that I got. I don't know this man that fucking much. I just met him 3, maybe 4 months ago. Shane Davidson.
Yes, he's here.
Shane Davidson's a cool fucking dude. I can
he's
see
not a dildo,
somewhere where people. I can see
He's
where
an
some
asshole.
people
He
think
tacked
me and
out
him are about the same. But he got a newborn, man. Which congratulations.
Look, I want to
Yes,
let
congratulations,
Davidson
Mr.
talk
Shane.
because he actually he's a father, and I think it's important to get a father's
you're
perspective.
that, man.
So Anthony, I
Like-
gotta let Shane speak. Shane, I want to have you speak on this.
So like I've said in the chat, it's something it doesn't need to be swept under the rug. Let me put that right there. I've said this in our private chats. It's something that needs to be taken seriously.
Absolutely, 100%.
I understand. We're all wrestlers. We all love the same thing. We all have the same passion. But there is certain boundaries that certain stipulations that people have, and that's one of my boundaries that's been crossed. And I found everything out today.
I found out last night.
And I'm like, I'm thrown for a loop. But
Aren't you working with him?
what?
Weren't you working with? Were you working with him?
No, he was working with Alan Michaels in the feud.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah, you attacked Alan Michaels.
Yeah.
I've only had one match with him. That's with a tag match a long time ago.
That was last season. Season.
But I don't condone it. I wanted to come out here and let everybody know that I don't condone that behavior. I'm a father, and maybe this was a wake up call for a lot of people out there.
Yeah.
It should be. I mean, listen, Craven Rage, Joe Anderson, Sammy Slade, they can't. It's not acceptable. It's not condoned. It's no toleration. We have fathers. We have people that they have children and we're around children, and to condone that behavior, it's not acceptable. It's not. There's nothing that anybody should support those individuals based off. They have to go. They have to go from their companies. They need to be eliminated. I mean, that's just the reality of it, is that they have to be extracted today. There's no tomorrow. There's no next week. It's today. They have to go. Nothing else with them. Those companies should, if they want to continue, that's up to them. But I'm here with one person here, Atomic Titan, who wants to have the floor. He wants to address the situation. I'd like to give him the floor because he's requested it. Mr. Titan,
Yeah,
take it away.
I hate to be here under these circumstances, unfortunately. As a TBW representative, I want to come on here and apologize to every single person here and to every single person watching that has been affected by this. And we apologize and very sincere. And if I would have known about this sooner, it would have been taken care of. And I feel really bad about this. And I just wanted to be taken care of in a properly manner, which
No,
I
I
think
think
we let Joe Anderson go. Because I personally don't condone those actions of what he
Like,
did.
I understand, like, this is a hard situation for you, like, you in general, and,
Yeah.
like, Aaron Blaze. Like, I know you're not the face of UWA or whatever, but you guys being on here and just to represent your company and stand up for you guys, that's balls. It really is, to come on here and say what you need to say. And I really want you to know, Atomic Titan, like, you and Joshua Allen, I hold nothing against you guys. I really don't, as a company, especially if you just found this out. And I still would love to come down there, but I mean, unfortunately, it's going to be a while.
we
Understand.
understand. It's okay. We understand
But
that. Please heal.
like
We
I
hope you
said,
feel
what
better.
one person has done does not portray the whole locker room.
Yeah, like I can't say Shane Davidson's, a
Right.
pedo. I can't say Sean
Right.
Joby's a pedo. You know what I'm saying? Like I can't say
Exactly.
that Aaron Blaze is a pedo. That's it's
Right.
being dealt with now. Titans here saying, look, he's gone, and you can't hold the rest. Like I
Highly
can't go.
appreciate it. Highly appreciate it. I
I
really
think
do.
that's a good move. And listen, I'm here with, which I'm going to say it, the wife of Craven Rage would like to speak on this. I speak on behalf of Craven, which is his wife. I've been told to say this is his wife, Liz. He is a convicted sex offender. He was 19 years old, dating a girl that lied about her age, and he wasn't aware of her age. And his case was over 20 years ago. He
And that's
paid
what he told me.
and once we started WC, he told everyone about his crime in the company. That's from her stand. That's his wife. That's his wife here. People, I
And
don't know
that's
what.
what he told me, and he was being honest with me, and that's why I let it happen.
Okay.
Because he was honest and upfront with everything. That what she just said is exactly what he told me. So I took it for what it was.
I hate to do
No,
this.
hell no.
I
No.
hate to do this, but would you then say, is this a different situation than Slade and Anderson, or they're all the same from you? Because you dealt with Craven Rage. So what would you say based on that? I mean, I hate to do this, but I have to ask that question.
It was 20 years ago, like she said. Like, I don't 20 years, I don't know. I don't
Okay.
know how
But it's something. Somebody wants to speak? Did Mac, you want to speak? Go ahead.
So, yeah, it might have been 20 years ago, but it's still there. He might not be on the registry anymore because I was watching the chat and one of them said they couldn't find him on the registry. So he might have been taken off. That just means there that his to the state his dues were paid,
The
and it
statute
wasn't.
of limitations expired.
Mhm.
By legal terms, that's what it means. And my guest who's here tomorrow, Abraham Storm, by the way, who's here tomorrow. Thank you, Aaron, for that. He's here. Says that he has young nieces and nephews and he wouldn't let anyone hurt them. And Stephen Storm, who's here next week, said, I have two little sisters and a cousin who just turned 2. And I find out that anyone messes with them, I'm going to jail for what they would do. Comatose, who, by the way, shared our link.
I
Thank
would
you, Comatose, for that.
kill anyone.
Let
That's
people know about what's going on. He has 6 little sisters. If someone like me were to find out the information that you have and you hurt them in any way, shape, or form, we will both go to jail, period. And I think 100% we would all be
100%.
the same
Well,
way. I agree with DG. Yes, we want to expose all these people, and it's absolutely
Well,
appalling.
my thing is on that. I wouldn't be going to jail because they wouldn't have found the body.
Well, that's
that's the one thing that, like, I guess it depends on how you were raised, who you were raised around. See, my dad told me one thing in this circumstance is it doesn't matter if it happened 20 years ago. It doesn't matter if it happened 20 days ago or 20 hours ago.
right.
You did it. You did it. I understand, you know, you went to jail, you spent time in there, you spent time on the registry. You did it. And I personally, that I can only speak for myself at this point, but I don't condone that. I can't. I cannot, under my pretenses for myself, go into a company with that acknowledgement and work, because especially if it's the owner, I have to take orders from that. Like they're the ones that dictate what I can and cannot do in that company.
Absolutely.
And
And listen, we don't want to work with that. We don't want to associate if that's going to be the case. It's not condonable. But I have something that's brought up to the floor. Let me bring this up here. This is toward you, Anthony. I have a question because I was told different. But from the horse's mouth himself. This is
Oh,
Joe.
that one's towards the TBW locker.
Okay, so let me read it off again. I do have a question because I was told different from, and I'll get to Jack Delter in a minute, but from the horse's mouth, Joe Anderson, he said people did know, including Atomic Titan. I had a very in-depth conversation with him earlier. So is that false? Would you want to elaborate on that, Atomic Titan?
Was she saying that she had a conversation with me?
No, with Joe Anderson. With Joe Anderson.
Personally, I did not know. I didn't know the extent. I didn't even know he was on there.
Okay, because she's saying that you knew. That's according to what she has to say.
Yeah.
Titan, I hate to break the fourth wall here on Sportswire. I really do for this circumstance. But I will 100% say here live on Sportswire, if y'all knew back when I was wrestling, because this dude's was there before I started. If any of y'all knew when I was wrestling then, and now that I have communications of coming back, if y'all knew, I'm not 7 foot back in TBW. I can't. And no offense.
I have another question though. Who blew the whistle? Sammy Slade is one thing, but who knew about Joe Anderson? That's something that would anybody like to go elaborate on that for those that had the information?
That's the thing. Who the real question now is who in TBW knew about Joe Anderson?
See, and
because that
not just that.
That's fun.
So,
dude.
With that, not just was it posted to Deathmatch Elite, there was another guy that was under Joe's that was affiliated with TBW when TBW almost first started, is what I found out.
Who?
Let me hold on.
Do you have that information?
Because low key, I'm gonna say this, and I respect Shane Davison. There was talks, but finding that shit out, Shane, dude. I got one thing to say. Come find me. I'll find you somewhere else. We can do some shit. But under those pretenses, if they knew, I can't. I
feel you. I like I said.
All right. So Jeffrey Austin Moore.
Where is that from? Jeffrey Austin Moore. Where is that from?
So according to Joe, because I was in the room when she was having that conversation, that Jeffrey Moore was a part of TBW when TBW first started. He is posted alongside Anderson on the Deathmatch Elite, saying that they both work for TBW.
Who's Jeffrey Moore? You mean Tyler, right?
Yeah.
He was in TBW at one time, but that was years ago.
I have another follow-up on the Joe Anderson. When he called me, I asked questions, and one of the first questions asked was, did TBW know? And the other stuff isn't lining up. Craven Rage's wife wants to say, we also have kids, and he knows his faults, and he doesn't like when people do things to little kids and stuff that, like, when I met him, he told me about his past, and I knew about his records. And I don't know if she had another pump, but we got cut off here. That's her. That's the wife of Craven Rage, by the way.
Titan.
What you want?
Titan. This is one of those things you got to be honest about. Who knows? Who knew about Joe Anderson? Who knew?
No idea.
Because I'm gonna say this, and this is coming. You can ask
Yeah, I understand.
Blaze, James, Kron, even Mac. And it's weird for me even to be in the same room with him right now. All four of us, all five of us, right here, fucking right now. It is better to be fucking honest about who in TBW knows now,
I literally just said
Then
that.
figure it out later.
for other people to find out after this. Because, dude, y'all are doing great. Y'all's subscriber count and y'all's views are doing great. If this shit comes out that y'all knew for a long ass fucking time, kiss TBW goodbye.
Yeah.
I'm gonna be fucking honest. Kiss TBW the fuck goodbye.
I mean, we have a comment that said that you guys knew, or you knew. I'm not in your locker room. Shane came on here, so that's. I mean, you say you didn't.
Now
know
Shane's a different story because the Shane came in a long time after Joe was already there.
Okay, right, but I mean, so then that's up to the owner, right? The leadership of TBW. Did you guys know? You want to talk about that one more time? Do you know, or did you not know that he had a record? You didn't know. Okay,
Yeah.
I mean, look, if you knew, you would never have hired him, correct?
Yeah, correct. Yeah.
And he would never have been, and he certainly would never have been a world champion.
Never been a world champion. He would have never
Troy.
appeared.
Then I'm gonna say
Well,
that
Anthony, I'm not lying to you. I don't know why you're
No. I'm just saying. No.
I'm just saying. You're trying to tell me that I knew.
Listen to what I'm saying.
Maybe.
Listen to what I'm saying. Even if you did not know, even if
Yeah.
you yourself did not know,
Yeah.
if a lot of those boys, and I'm just going to name names, not saying they do or they don't, but if Gage Flair, Joshua Allen, fucking who else? Fucking Ledger,
Jay Wild,
fucking Robbie Anderson,
Jay
fucking Manny Cobra.
Jay
Yeah,
Wild.
like Russell Cooper. If anybody knew, if anybody knew about that and let that fucking transpire, Titan, I promise you, what you've spent over the last 6, 7 fucking years building, you're going to see fucking go up in no pun intended, a blaze, and fucking demolish to the fucking ground.
I have to come back with
y'all
more
want.
comments. I have to come back because the chat has a lot of comments. D'Angelo Flame, I'm not at fault. I don't work for these companies. I don't know why am I getting the emoji for. Who discovered Joe on the registry? Can anybody elaborate on that? Do we know how?
So I started looking more into it, and come to find out that Joe had actually changed his name to kind of stay anonymous away from the registry, and the name change was not on the registry. I found out through the registry for the simple fact that his registry picture is literally in Deathmatch Elite's page right now.
Well, I was alerted. Somebody sent me a post that had his information on there. I think in the same group. You gave me in the same group.
Jake sent you that information, and that's what made me go to that page.
Jake sent it. Correct. Jake sent it, and I shared it, and I was like, "Oh my god!" What the? It's going out there. Let me see here. Dude's pressing hard. He said no 3 times. Bully type of shit. I know Tom doesn't condone that type of behavior. In terms of what's the behavior, I think I pretty much have been clear.
But that's the thing. We're not pressing him that he knows now. We're trying to figure out who in TBW knows.
Well,
TBW, y'all gotta understand.
Let me say something. It sounds like to me that nobody wants to step up, and just like Kron said, I got to give a little credit to Titan. He's the only one here representing and trying to talk, but obviously nobody else has got a set big enough to get on here and actually speak up and say something. But that just shows you.
Well, Craven Rage is here. Would you like Craven Rage to speak? His wife gave. You want to hear him speak?
That's up to y'all.
Craven Rage, please take the mask off. I'm not going to bring you on here without the mask. You have to take the mask. Seriously?
I don't want to speak to Craven Rage. I want to speak to Michael.
Michael Germain, yes. I don't want to see Craven Rage with a mask on. You're a sex offender. You have to come on here. And he just hung up.
Bro,
let me come back, though, to a few comments. I have this comment here. To be fair, he said a handful of people knew. He said, in his words, were Titan and a handful of people. I'm not trying to start drama. Matt can verify he was in the room, which Joe told me that he was on the call earlier. That's just what. Then he changed his name. I have Craven Michael Germain here. Would you like? Can I bring him on? Can I bring him on? He wants to say something. No? Yes?
Yeah,
It's
I
up to
don't
you
mind.
guys.
All right. You have the
I don't
floor,
mind.
Mike. Mike, you're on the spot.
Yeah. Can you hear me? Can you hear me?
Now I
We can hear you. Also, my
Please,
apologies
please
for
tell us.
eating. I'm
Give us the
nervous.
explanation because this is not good.
Yeah, I totally agree. About me, I was 20 years old. 20 years old in '98 when I first moved up here, Wisconsin. So I met a girl. She told me she was 18. I believed her. We started dating, messed around, we had sex. Her parents found out. They turned me in. I did not know her. I didn't know she was 17 years old. At that time, I just thought I met a beautiful person that truly cared about me. So I went to prison, served 8 years, went through the registry, went through the classes, learned a lot of stuff about myself, went through therapy, went through the classes, and found out the reason why it happened. And found out a lot about myself. And I served 8 years. I got out. Ever since I've been out, I got out in 2004. I haven't repeated nothing. I've been on the registry. The reason why I even got in this business is because of my grandfather. I went through training. I went through all that. That's the reason why none of the promotions won't touch me because that's on my record. It's gonna be on the record for the rest of my life. I deal with it every day, 24/7.
Now,
I got it.
I get where you're coming from and everything that you've said. Plus, on top of that, you're actually doing what the state set forth to you when somebody new comes around. You tell them, but
And he did. He did. He told me.
That's why I asked, is there a difference? And again, I'm not trying to say there is a
I'm
difference.
not right.
Is
right.
there between him versus Anderson and Slade, who were basically, I mean, these guys seem like they knew and they didn't want to, as if nobody should know about it. That's
His
what I'm
honesty
saying.
made me want to give him a chance.
yeah,
That's what I say.
That's
His
one thing I
honesty-
do. I do tell everybody about my past. All the guys that I wrestle with up here, I told them out the door about my past. They know about my past.
see now that's the thing. Yeah, if you give the information up front with people, to me that's different than if you're hiding it. If you're hiding it, that
Right.
makes me believe
Why are
that
you hiding it?
you
Why are you
did.
hiding it?
It's like I said in the chat. If you're hiding or running from your problems, you're guilty. I'm sorry. Yes, it's a fucked up time in your fucking past that happened to you.
Own it.
Own what happened to you in the past.
But it sounds
And I-
like Craven
and I-
owned it at least. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, listen, he was a,
And
you
I
did
know-
No,
but
he.
at least you owned it. I think that it sounds to me like, you know, I listen, I don't want to justify anything because they're all
No,
bad.
yeah, I
But,
get it. Yeah,
you know,
but
And
his
I
wife, like
understand.
his wife said, it's exactly what he told me.
And I
What his
understand.
wife
I
said.
have to bring up Sammy Slade's wife is here, and I'd like to read her comment. Out of respect, I'd like to read her comment because she has something to say. I'm the wife of Sammy Slade. I didn't think I should come on here, but I just wanted to say if someone wanted to know the whole situation with him, but I really don't want to be yelled at. Would people like to hear her side of the story?
Let her talk.
If she want to come on the chat, does she want to read it? I can read the comment off. It's
And we're
totally
not going to
fine.
attack her.
No, I'm not attacking.
No,
And I've been clear. I think I honestly let everybody speak to. Have you heard me yelling it over everybody? I've given
Nope.
everybody a fair shake.
Yep.
I mean, I don't think that I've done anything other than giving people a chance to hear their side.
I just don't want her to think that we're going to bash. Like,
No,
I don't.
I want to make that clear. I don't think that we have been doing the best we can. Yeah, it's awesome. This is not the time for a backyard talent show, but thank you for that. I can't do that right now. But I have this comment here. I don't care about drama. My life is drama. I'm sorry, but I think Titan is lying. It doesn't make sense. Joe would come clean about all that on a phone call, but then just throw Titan's name in there for no reason. He even told me the real age gap. Would you like to address that?
So I'm going to address it because I know the real age gap on that too. So
and do you know Joe Anderson, Mac? Do you know him at all?
yes, I know him. I've had a couple of matches with him.
That's why I wanted to ask. That's why I asked.
And not once was I ever told of any of this.
So he never repeat that again. He never told you.
Mm-mm.
I can add to that when I was in UWA the first time in 2022, I wasn't aware of it at all. And I worked a little bit with Joe. We didn't really have a match, and any segment we had kind of got scrapped, ironically. But
I'm honestly gonna bring this up too. So it pisses me off about the Joe thing because he never told me once at all, and he was trying to get booked at Rezzy's next big show, and he had asked if he could stay here at the house. I was like, sure, and then I find this stuff out, and the shit's done pissed me the fuck off. But no,
who said he was 19? The victim was 13.
Yep.
Joe?
Yep.
Respectfully, Tom, I love you. I love Sportswire Radio, but I'm gonna hop the fuck off here before I get this channel taken the fuck down. Because that dude, what the fuck are you doing?
Well, we didn't know. I've never. Joe has not been somebody that's a regular. So Anthony, we don't condone Joe Anderson. I think the people know who are watching this. This is not to do with Sportswire. These are the companies that.
What I'm saying is, look, Joe, I know you're going to see this, and I hope you fucking listen to this. You're 19. The girl is 13. You knew, homie, where a lot of people are from, especially up north, dude, shit like that gets you killed.
Yeah.
No, listen. Obviously,
like that's not even a thing that you should be like. Well, it happened. I mean, if you don't want to be my friend, no, homie. What the fuck? You are a grown ass fucking adult. You are an adult.
Grown ass adult.
Yeah.
That is a child.
Sammy Slade's wife wants to say this. I don't mind speaking at all. We have small children and one on the way. We already have people threatening our family. I just don't want anything worse to happen, if you know what I mean.
My best advice for you, Dixie. It's out there. People know.
Don't let him hide it.
Tyler should just not try to contact people, not try to come back. Because I'm going to let you know this right now, and it's happened to multiple fucking people in the music industry and the wrestling industry, any fucking industry they're in. Once it's out there, there's no hiding. There's no, I'm going to change this shit the fuck up, because someone will find you and someone will recognize you. So the best thing that I could say is y'all just, one, I don't understand why this motherfucker has social media. He shouldn't fucking have it. I thought it was fucking mandated that they can't have social media.
On a certain extent, on certain ones.
Different states
it depends.
Is that a lot?
Depends.
I don't know. But all I'm gonna say is this: anyone that associates with Sammy Slade or Joe Anderson, dude, y'all have a great life because y'all gonna get what's coming to y'all.
Well, Joe Anderson and Sammy Slade. I mean, that's. You want to say something, Craven? Go ahead.
Yeah,
you want to say something?
And we do background checks on everybody. Like everybody that's associated with WC, we do background checks. We look up, like my wife literally will Google everybody that has been part of WC, and yeah, we all got shit on our records and stuff, but I have the worst on my record, but I have dealt with it all my life. I have been called a pedophile. I have been called a child molester, but people just don't know the facts of the situation when
See,
you don't live their life.
and you're talking about the facts or the situations of what's going on in the court systems and stuff. So there's a little thing. I'm going to let this be known here.
Go for it.
And I used to run with a couple of the groups on YouTube that was pedophile hunters. We used to do and set up sting operations, and we got in trouble a couple of times for setting up sting operation because we were technically using a fake profile. So then it turned us in those states that we were doing them in to where we'd have to actually use an actual profile of a kid that we knew to make it a legitimate case in court. So there's a couple of things that you can do is when you're doing a background check on somebody, you can actually pull up the entire police case.
Yeah,
I mean, that's with any charge. That's with any charge.
So I just want to just elaborate on it because I know a little bit about this. If in your state you're able to check, depending on where you go, you're able to check the case record, the court docket, the judge, all that information that you can. Some places have LexisNexis, some other places have it. You go to your, it's your state judge, Supreme Court. There's a whole. It depends where you're at. New York, I know the New York law, but in the different states, there's different ways.
That one's weird.
Yeah, tell me about it. I'm
that
a notice.
Weird.
Yes, tell me about it.
Yeah,
bizarre.
You can pull all that information up, but it took me a long time for me just to admit what I did. It took me a long time to admit, but when I realized that just me being in denial, and I grew the fuck up, I just said, fuck it. I just said, fuck it. I'm going to admit my wrongdoings to everybody I associate with and let them, and I don't try to judge nobody, at all.
And that's one thing with the groups that I was with when we were hunting them like that. Like these hunts would go on for months. We would have binders upon binders of conversations. And we'd finally get them to meet up somewhere. And we'd give them an ultimatum. Call family, call friends that doesn't know about what you are, so they know what you are and they can help you, or we can just get the cops involved.
So that's the reason why, like when I first met Tom, I told Tom about my situation. I told everybody that I associate with.
Well, you told Kron that, like, look, here's my record. I mean, he wrestled and that was that. I think it's a different case than with Joe Anderson or a different case with Sammy Slade.
You're talking a 13-year-old. That's wow.
That's stuff that, that's, you belong in jail for 50 years and you don't ever should be out of jail. There's a different dynamic.
That is correct.
Any of this. That's a different, a 13-year-old and a 9, you need to be hung. You need to be hung.
No offense. Yes. No, it's not even that. Joe, I know you got kids. You don't deserve to be around them kids. You don't.
How many kids does he have?
Titan, how many he's got? What, 2?
Hey, Joe?
Yeah.
It's like
Joe don't have any kids.
Then who's the kids that was with him when I was coming? Was that his stepkids or what?
That was his ex-wife's kids, I believe.
Did Joe's ex-wife have kids?
Is Joe Anderson married? Is that, not to get into that.
I don't know him that well.
Look,
you have to know Joe Anderson well. You can't say you don't know.
I know he was married, but then I don't. I don't know if he's still married.
The other thing that people need to take into consideration, especially, and I say this not to brag about it, I say it to get this known to people, especially for Joe and Sammy.
He's divorced, by the way. We
You,
received a comment. Joe
you
Anderson-
divorced. Y'all know your addresses are literally online for any one of you. Anyone.
I can
Because
pull
you
up
have to
anybody
register,
and
you have
everybody
to-
that has ever lived at your address.
Like, they know you, your cars, your jobs, your house. And I'm gonna say this one last time, and I'm gonna shut the fuck up for the rest of the day because we're going on 2 hours and 20 minutes.
No, but you know what though?
Liar.
But honestly, it is cathartic for people because like people need to know that Joe Anderson should nowhere near a ring. I know, and I give Sammy Slade's wife a lot of credit for being here, but Sammy Slade can't be out there, unfortunately. I mean, I give Craven credit because I think Craven is accountable. I'm not saying what you did was right, but at least you were here and his wife
Hold
was,
on.
yeah.
So,
Yeah.
so the comment that just came up to Dixie just said, "What's
I
the
did
point
see
in
that.
telling the truth when nobody will listen?"
Look, I'm gonna say this because Mac, I know you got the same thing. You want to know the truth, Dixie? You want to know the truth? You want to say the truth? It's right here on my screen. April 28th, 2016, attempted aggravated sexual assault times two on a minor.
Got dropped. It got dropped and moved to a sexual battery. That one was a sexual battery, and then the one that's
July
still going.
14th,
Yep, the one that's still going is the 0202 of 2015, another sexual battery.
No, the one that's still going actually is July 14th, 2014, criminal attempt to commit aggravated sexual battery.
Yep, that's another one that was still going.
Homie, I'm gonna say this. If anyone wants to try to fight these fucking things, whether you're relatives of these guys, engaged, married, together, you can't fight this. You can't.
And not just that. I actually brought up the actual penal code and put it in the chat a while ago.
Yeah, I can pull that up for the audience. Let me pull it up. There's the way it's gonna be behind, but let me.
Oh yeah, there was like three of them.
Casey, we are talking about two different people. We're talking about Sammy Slade, aka for people that don't know, Jeffrey Austin Tyler Moore.
3913 new 3913 1004 Part 5 sexual offenses 3913-501 39-13 535 Section 39-13-505.
Casey, yes, we're talking about two different people. We're talking about Jeffrey Austin Tyler Moore, aka as people know him in the fucking wrestling scene as Sammy Slade, and we're also talking about Joseph
When
Allen
you're talking
Tackett,
about,
aka
can you
Joe
tell
Anderson.
the audience who is Casey for the audience?
Everybody, Casey, Atomic Trash is my ex-fiance.
Okay.
That is my ex-fiance. That's how she knows.
And you posted one more thing, Mac, on the legal code, right? If I'm wrong.
I brought the whole section. Section A is there because there's like 3 more sections after that I didn't post.
Act 2, the sexual contact is accomplished without the consent of the victim. The defendant knows or has no reason to know at the time of the contact that the victim did not consent.
Dude, I don't know how many times this has to be said tonight.
There's one more after that, Tom.
You gotta, y'all gotta understand. One, this is public information. Public. Anyone can find it. I'm not saying it's right. I just want to tell this whole story. The story. Look, long story short, Dixie. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to argue with you. Long story short, he got caught with a kid. He got convicted. He knew it was wrong. Same with Joe. Joe got caught with a kid. He knew it was wrong, and he fucking got convicted. Nothing can go back and change what they did. No one can go back and change what happened, and they can't argue this fact. They can't.
Running from your problems makes you look guilty. Yes.
Yep.
It should start with a 3 on it. It should have been like right after. Still had section 2 on it.
I don't see. If somebody in the chat wants to remind me,
I got it.
Thank you, Anthony. Pull it up and show it for the audience, or send it to me,
Yeah,
DM it to me, and I'll
Well,
read
all
it.
you got to do is look up the very last penal code for Tennessee that was on that first one, and you can bring up
Anthony
the
will
actual
tell you.
thing.
No, she's saying that she's not saying it's right. She just wanted to get his whole story.
The Flame, you're fucking funny.
Well, maybe I should go back to law school again. Maybe I should go. Maybe because again, I think I'll be on Sportswire, right? We think I could go back on Sportswire. I'm only goofing. It's a joke. Let's not go any further. I know people don't want to hear that right now, but let's move forward. Finding things. Maybe you know that. I don't know, Anthony. That was your ex fiance, right? Is it we're talking about that you mentioned in question? Yes, Law and Order music. Yes, thank you for that. But
That's that inserts finger guns here, guys. Let's go. Bang bang.
Yes.
Bang.
So I'm gonna say this.
Oh, thank
That
you,
way,
Anthony.
I got one person here. Craven, Michael,
Okay.
whichever one you go to buy.
Yeah.
When I found that out, all right, I understand that happened years and years and years ago. When you got convicted, I wasn't even born yet. I wasn't around. That shows how young I am, guys. But it's a simple fact that you got to look at a guy like me, a guy that this is my entire life. Wrestling, I have made my entire fucking life. This is what I want to do.
Right.
And with understanding what has transpired in your life, it's like
It will affect him.
I ask everybody the same thing. If you knowingly wanted to make this a career, wanted to take this to the biggest extent that you can, and you were about to face fucking Joe Anderson, that's the biggest example I can, and you knew that he was on the registry, would you compete with him? Would you compete with that company knowing that company knew? Honestly.
Okay. Honestly, I was in the company like this. I was in the company, ACW. I was in that same company, working through them. They knew about my case and everything. They had me compete on the biggest stage
So
here in Wisconsin.
more what Anthony is actually asking here
Right.
is
I'm asking if you were in my position, not that you have a case, nothing. If you were in my position and I offered, say the roles were reversed.
Okay.
I was in your position, you were in my position.
Yeah.
And I asked you to come work with me, or we were in talks with it about collaborating together or having a match. Would you, knowing that I was on the registry, willingly work with me?
If we had the same type of,
if the roles were reversed,
would you want to work with us? Would you willingly want to work with a known sex offender
without him coming and telling you?
if he didn't tell me about his situation, no, I wouldn't want to work with him.
See, but here's another thing that I will say. I didn't find out through you. That's another thing that pissed me the fuck off. I didn't find out through you. I found out through other people that found out through your people and you. That's my thing. Is there? I can say for the youngins in here, me, Blaze. I know me and Blaze are the two best examples. We want to make this our livelihood. We want to, as the older generation, we want to make it our bread and butter.
So what he's telling you is that, look, Aaron Blaze and Anthony Steele might want to go to the Indies or go further in their career. So to associate with
go further in the Indies,
they can't.
Go
right,
pro.
I know WWE, but they can't associate.
And I completely understand that. A lot of people want to go. A lot of people have went from the yard and to go other places. I know a lot of people are like that.
All right, so in the interest of time, I want to get to the main point here. First of all, I want to let Atomic Titan speak. I have to let him speak, and I want to get everybody a shot here before we move on. So let me go, first of all, address all this in the room to recap. Sammy Slade, you got to go. Joe Anderson, you got to go. Craven Rage, Michael Germain, I think you're pretty much, that's kind of where you are at the moment. No different. I think
Really appreciate your honesty.
Yeah.
can't tolerate it. And I know it's a very, I know you at least came here to speak, but that's kind of where it is. There's a lot of people here that
Sure, that's some balls
it's
too.
a blight on the community, and people need to go further. And that's kind of where we're at with that. I think that's pretty much, let's put that in. Whatever people from the companies that they represent, UWA, Titan will address that in a second. WCE, you have management. That's pretty much where we're at. And I think most people take the same position. And I think that it was important tonight to hear this, because if it's in your bedroom, you don't want it, or you want it in your job, your environment, and it's not tolerable, and we need to move on from it, and we will move on from it. And I think ultimately, at the end of the day, the companies that are here, and it's important that we had a father in Mr. Cron, and we also had Shane Davidson or Tonka as a father to give their side of the story. And I think that it's important that people got to hear a presentable case. I think it's where and Mac is a father. I'm sorry, Mac. I apologize. I apologize for that. I always keep
In that aspect too of that, Anthony is not here right now, but when Anthony was living with me, I'd left a job. I was working at a tire place that changes oil and everything else, and I had just been happened to be sitting in the office, and the boss's girl was there. Okay, cool. And I was sitting there talking to the boss. And he goes, I go, man, I'm fucking old. And she turns around and goes, you're only 10 years older than me.
Yeah.
Mind you, the boss was 26 and I was 27 at that time.
Okay. All right. So I think I've got the point. I've got three people that I know, obviously, that we're all in agreement with, including Craven, Michael Jermaine. You got to go. You got to move on. I got to get to people here to sign off the show. Let me go to you, Mr. Titan, first. Is there anything you want to say to the audience as a representative of TBW?
Yeah, I'll say it's very disgusting on Joe's part that, honestly, because we have kids watching, obviously, on the internet. And I don't condone or support this at all, his actions. And if we knew about it a long time ago, he would have been gone. So, yeah, I don't support any of that. I think it's very disgusting.
And going forward, just to confirm, going forward, he's not in the company. Is that correct?
No, yes, sir. He's no longer in the company.
And I want to also say, Sammy Slade's wife should not apologize. It's not her fault.
She didn't do anything.
She didn't do anything, and she, had an opinion. She's told her side of the story, and I don't think anybody yelled at her or talked over her. And I think everybody got a chance to speak. And and I do think it was commendable, at least for some people. Aaron was here, Anthony was here, Mac was here, James. Thank you for this, and even you came on here, Michael, and I think that was, at least people will respect that. It doesn't take away, but people respect that. Let me go on. I got to get to everybody here because we've been here long enough. Mr. Cron, is there anything else you want to say before we move on? Because you're the father here, along with Mac. Anything else you want to say?
I've said what I need to say about this, and I'm done with all that shit. I'm looking forward to Backyard Havoc. Everybody that's coming out, James, ROEW, I'll be back. They said about 7 months before I can do anything physical.
All right, well, that's hope. I mean, you got the Tony Iommi fingers there a little bit without the.
Okay. I just went to the surgeon today, and
all right. Well, hanging in. Listen, it'll get better. Trust me. We're gonna get everybody. We're gonna get through this day. Trust me. We're gonna get through this. It's every family has their problems. We're gonna get through this. Trust me. We'll be tomorrow. I'm on the air with Abraham Storm. Thank you, Aaron, for that. Abraham Storm's here. So
my guy.
We're gonna be here with him. We're gonna talk a lot of CSW. So
yeah, let's get back to wrestling. Yeah,
I always like talking. I mean, I thought Anthony, you were on a podcast that said, "Oh, all wrestling matters is BS," but it's actually where all wrestling matters, really. So in a way, this actually was important. So I mean, but then again, people are tuned into this one, but maybe not for the right reasons. But that's okay. I'm gonna get to you last, Anthony. Mac, do you want to say anything? Anything else? We're good. Okay, thank you for that. Aaron, anything else you want to say before we sign off? Anything you want to say?
See, what really upsets me is not even just knowing about it and still going through what happened at Unleashed, but I was talking to Jake earlier and I said, you need to come on. You need to say something in the comments. And he was
Yeah,
just
he
making
wasn't
up.
here. I have to be honest. That's not cool. He was not. At least there were people here to say something. You to not be here. That's not cool. That's not acceptable. That's not.
Right.
I mean,
And
I will support DG on that. I think if he was trying to get me to say something about Jake, 100%, that's not acceptable. Not
right.
And I
acceptable.
applaud you,
And
Aaron, for stepping up. That's
of course, of
big,
Absolutely.
big
course.
of you.
And
Big of
of
you.
course. And because, like, I care about this shit, like Anthony
Right.
said. And,
And it shows.
you know, it's just like, fuck, I forgot my train of thought. I'm sorry.
Sorry.
No, it's just I originally, when figuring this out, not through Tyler, might I add, I figured it out through someone else and other stuff. God, it's just so fucking messy. It's just I try giving people the benefit of the doubt, but the more and more we kept going forward with the show, and a lot of things with his situation were disregarded by mainly Jake. It didn't sit right with me, and the last straw was tonight. Like, because you guys were right, I shouldn't have had to come on here. It's not
No, it's
my
not your
job to
fault.
be
It's not your fault. You did nothing wrong. There's nothing. You did nothing wrong with anything. There's no. You listen. I think he was not accountable. That's not fair. You know, I think that people were accountable. So that's kind of the gist of it here. Jake is taking a hiatus from social media, but he should be here. There should have been a video. There should have been an apology. Abraham will be here tomorrow. We'll go forward from there. James, you want to say anything else before we sign off?
I mean, I thank everybody for tuning in on this. This was just this needed to be addressed. This needed to be talked about. This needs to be taken care of. And
Yeah,
when I
100%.
saw what I said, I mean, I said what I said because it's how I felt, and I was like, I mean, I can't be the only one that feels like this. I'm just going to express it, and this is the turnout.
I think
So
we
thank
all
you for
did. And I
everybody
think,
that's
James, I think everybody here supported what you did. Everybody,
I
thank
appreciate
you.
it. Yeah.
No, I think
Really.
everybody was with you on this. There's no, with Slade and Anderson, with those, they did is horrific. I mean,
I'm just like y'all. I don't condone the shit. I watch those pedo shows on YouTube all the time where they're catching in the predators and Chris Hansen and all that stuff. I watched that shit for years because I can't stand those bastards. And if me and my wife ever had kids and somebody did that you could bet I'd torture their ass till I'd make them beg me to end it. I don't condone it. I
no,
just
no,
I
and
don't care.
nobody should. And I think,
Period.
and I want it to be known that I don't think any of us did. And I think, James, I gave everybody an opportunity to speak, and I think that we handled it accountably. We handled it in a way, but we gave people the opportunity. This wasn't a Silver Wolf episode. This wasn't a Xavier Thorne, loose cannon. We had a productive, professional conversation, and I think people heard the stories. I think, Anthony, I'm going to get to you last, but I'm going to give you 60 seconds because I want to let the show, let people go to bed finally. I actually do have a show tomorrow. I'm actually on the air tomorrow, and I hope
God
people
love
tune
you,
in.
Tom. God love you.
I think that people know that
Every
this
night, twice a night, it don't matter. He's always
I'm
on.
here still. I mean, I don't think people. I think people are saying thank you, James, for letting us know. And obviously, we're here. And I think, look, say Slade and Anderson. I don't know what people think of Craven Rage after this. I think he was accountable. People are going to make their opinions. I don't think he should be on here anytime soon.
See, that situation was sprung on me, time of the match.
But I think at least, again, I don't want to defend people over another, but I think
Right.
WCE,
Right, you're right.
I think WCE's company is different than UWA and even TBW because I think that that's a different dynamic. So but again, I'm not at these companies. I think Michael's wife is here, and so is Craven came on. I think there's a belief in accountability. So I think, but again,
exactly.
Abraham Storm is here tomorrow, and that's kind of where we're at, more or less. Anthony, I'm giving you 60 seconds.
I don't even need 60 seconds. I got two things. I got two things for Joe Anderson and Sammy Slade, and that's both of y'all can go fuck yourselves. and get the fuck out of fucking professional wrestling. Backyard
Oh, not even
underground.
listen.
Like-
Professional
like-
wrestlers, they're not professional wrestlers. They're professional people that should be in jail. I mean, listen, my goodness.
All I'm gonna say is this. I've said it earlier tonight. I'm gonna say it right now. If any person that I'm in affiliation with, I find out that you're in affiliation with either one of those fucking two, I'm done. I don't need you. I don't want you. And for any company that is still willing to work with these people or associate with these people, y'all deserve to fucking go down to the ground. Thank you.
100%.
Have a nice day from The Real Deal. Two fingers
you,
up.
Anthony. Yes, we
Bang.
appreciate
Bang,
that, and I think that people, yes,
I
and
can't do that.
Michael's wife wants to say
Damn it,
that.
Kron.
Can I just? I want to get one more comment. Michael's wife wants to say we really respect everyone on here, and I hope that you guys won't judge Michael in the same way as Sammy and Joe Anderson.
Well, at least he was straight up about it, and it
Right.
wasn't like
I can respect him for that. And
Okay. All right. I mean, look, if that's what people think, that's fine. I just think that I don't know.
At least he was honest with me. I mean, it wasn't like a heat of the moment thing, and then we drove for fucking 10 hours. Yeah.
I
so it
think
was
he
like,
at least talked about
Like
he was
that-
what he talked about his situation. He did his time.
right.
know,
And
That's information I want to know up front now, though.
exactly. Right. A nice little phone call.
Yeah, well, obviously, I think somebody put on Instagram. I think it was CJ Black background checks. Yeah, background checks should be all wrestling companies. That's to me,
Also-
ROEW James. Your company seems to get that
See?
background.
ROEW. That's why.
ROE James,
Oh,
ROEW
yeah, that
genius,
motherfucker.
changing the game. Background check. If we need background checks,
Oh, you have to sign
that's the way
Yeah.
it should be. That's the way it
Oh
should
wait,
be.
funny story real quick.
Yes,
So
funny real quick.
I was
Don't have
texting
any-
him about that, and then he, you know how he compares me to Michael Jackson? Guess what that motherfucker
Yeah.
did? He said, "It says here you're dead," and he sends me a screenshot of fucking Michael Jackson. I'm
Well,
like,
you know what? I think
God damn
people
it,
are going
dude.
to obviously want to go and have some smooth criminal talk. But definitely thank you, everybody, for tuning in.
Oh, you
I'm
don't want to know
here.
about the shit I get.
Well, I'm
about
here with
this.
Abraham Storm, and I'm here in the evening. I'm here twice. I am here twice tomorrow, so I actually do have to
Skeletor.
get off the. I am here 2 times tomorrow, and
Oh, God
thank
love
you
you.
everybody for tuning in. Yeah, I think the Hall of Fame you definitely need a background check, but we
Yeah.
don't have. I don't have Joe.
I got one thing, Tom, before we
Right.
sign off.
Yes.
We are only 16 days away from IWA's Deep South Carnage Cup, guys.
I'm excited about that. You know that we'll be talking Carnage Cup. Kato's back in the house soon. You and Kato are here together. They're all wrestling. Imagine that. Yes, we do need a background check, but I think we don't have Joe Anderson and Sammy Slade in the Hall of Fame. I've never had Sammy Slade on sports, but Joe's come on here in a cameo. But thank you everybody for tuning in. Yes, Joe Anderson and Sammy Slade are not allowed on Sportswire. That's for sure. And I don't know where UWA is, but they're probably in the dustbin right now. And hopefully for TBW, you make those changes. But until then, we'll be here tomorrow. And yes, Kato, yes, the Kato long chant. And if I didn't get to you in the chat, thank you for tuning in. Hit the sub button for me. I'm almost there at 1,000 subscribers. By the way, I do want to say one more thing. My birthday is Monday, so hopefully all of you here can come on my birthday Monday. My birthday's on Monday, so
You know, Tom, I ain't got no life. I'm stuck at home now.
So
I'm a working cop.
I mean,
I ain't
hopefully,
got no life.
if you're here, you know,
I'm a
Monday,
working cop.
well, so if you'd like to be here Monday, my birthday is Monday, so hopefully,
I'll be here. I'm
Oh,
here every night.
Did you just
If I
read
don't
that
have
comment
work,
that
if
I
I
just
don't
wrote?
have work, I'll be here.
Which one? Which one?
That very last comment from Comatose.
Wait, what?
Oh, be careful saying the number. I'm gonna get. Oh, yeah. 34. Come on.
No. I said 16 days.
Oh, yeah. Let's please not do that. Let's definitely.
My wife told you too.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I do see that, Mrs. Thank you, Mrs. Taylor. Happy early birthday. So hopefully, hopefully
Thank
on
you,
Monday,
message there.
I hope everybody that's here tonight will be here on my birthday for Monday. But hopefully, I won't
Definitely.
get the Joe
100%.
Hopefully, I won't get the Joe Anderson and Sammy Slade treatment. Do you think I won't? Do you think I'll get that treatment? Hopefully.
Nah.
Yeah, hopefully we get 50, 60 people in here for the
Man,
right reasons and not
it-
bullshit like this.
Yeah, some good
Depends
shit,
on if I
fun
find any
shit.
dirt on you, Tom.
Hey,
My
I brought the
political
turnout.
career, you can find dirt on that. You can promise you, I'm on
You pull
LinkedIn.
up the pics without the mutton chops, then we got dirt on him right there.
Oh, that's
Wow.
I showed my own dirt out there.
You
How about
foul for that one. You're foul for that one.
I was nice, but yes,
God
my
damn.
thank you for everybody. My name is the Reverend Tom Bryce. Thank you for your support. Thank you for tuning in.
Love you,
Thank you,
Tom.
Abraham. I'll see you later. And good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are on the number one Global Radio